Merda! Ah no, da dietro pure, ok. Ho detto la madonna, l'ha bisciottato. E Shaziza non...
They could go nuclear as long as this next phase of play is perfect.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of space right now if you are Virtus Pro, right? You kind of called it out. You can kind of look up at research, but more importantly, you can look down at Lumbermill. You can look at all of this cross coming over from Main Street. And well, when you put wide open spaces on players, any like Grimy, Destroy, or Adrian, you know they're going to find their picks. Dare you try and maybe show your face for just a moment. So while that happens on the east side, on the west side, you still have a number of our top teams who have to make this hellish rotation in on the outside of Main Street.
Yeah, hellish is definitely the right word for it. For everything that we just said about Virtus Pro over at Coal Depot and establishing themselves a position for later stages, there is no such thing really on the western side of the map. Main Street's just hell. Fight through it. Take every engagement as it comes. A man who is better than most at that is going to be Lays. Confirmation, by the way, that T1 will be wiped before they get very far in this matchup. So that gap that looks close to the top 5 will now feel ever larger. Twisted Minds, they've tucked themselves in at white. You've actually got Almond pressed way up towards Barnes. So this is hunting for Shifty and Blastities. Almond won't be silent, by the way. Will drop Blade in the background, but for Shifty, this is where he's at his best, and well, gets the coverage in from Blast as well. Lovely little two-piece onto the Geeky roster.
Yeah, I like the hesitation there. You see Shifty knows there's the player on the roof, so says, I'm gonna push forward. Hey, Blast, play from behind here with me. That player drops, realizing that they're in a nice little Twisted Mind sandwich, and unfortunately, they are the meat. And well, it was quite a delicious sandwich for Twisted Minds as they go ahead and find those kills.
So many questions?
Don't worry about it, man. France has been a great time. You gotta make a rotation out up through Barn. And I like this. Twisted Minds realizing they gotta play that northern side. FaZe Clan. It was a torrid day for them yesterday. Hot off the heels already. They've been in the kill feed quite a lot. Dizzy, Mati, Clamp. Can you make it happen? Unfortunately, you find yourself on the end of the gun of Lennon, who is just ripping right now. Finds Connell and is able to take down some of FaZe.
Really important to get Mati back up there. You're between 6 different sides rotating out of Main Street. The later you are on that rotation, the harder it will be, and you desperately need points. You played this very well. It could kickstart your comeback that you desperately need for this afternoon. Shifty will wall bang the hell out of that.
We run
fire. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I was about to say a little bit of a shooting peas there for Shifty, but he will now take control of Sawmill with Almond pushed up towards the north. Blast is keeping eye on anything rotating out of Main Street. This is a lovely little pocket of space for them to operate in. Shifty's just got to be careful he doesn't run into Nova at the wrong time.
While this is happening,
Shifty vero cavallo.
Novo,
vero cavallo.
One more team needs to drop. Gets it at 1.2
già 4 kill.
This is the secret to success here from all of our top teams. They're getting at least a 1.2, if not a 1.4 consistently. So for Twisted Minds, they want to play this northern side of the map, and they're going to cut their way through it. They will take down any player that they can in order to make that happen. But look at this on the other side, PBJ, they're starting to get trapped.
Yeah, this is so often the problem with research. You get involved in that
chi vi ha fatto fuori Codli?
You're late on the rotation. We know that Virtus Pro in control of the Coal Depot.
Clamp,
PBJ are just going to be held out. Everyone's going to be looking in their direction soon. That being said, Shifty has not Grimy. You see that in the kill feed. That is over at the Coal Depot. FaZe are working their way out of Bank, going to be up against the Stallions. They were trying to actually disengage this fight. Might be caught unawares from timing. Need to make sure they're in this as a 3.
Shifty schiaffeggiato da Adrian. Schiaffeggiato.
And then gets involved. Blasties tries to trade. Doesn't happen. Twisted will have to reset that fight. Go again, but Almond is in a spot to get the boys straight back in.
It's a huge hold from Virtus Pro, but you're not over yet. You got one player from PBJ on the ground and another in the sky. So do you have the angle? Unfortunately for you, Jay Vela has been found out from a different side. PBJ, no opportunity to get their feet underneath them. And finally, this fight's starting to kick on off between FaZe Clan and the Stallions. But they're not alone because it's H1 now starting to get in the mix. Ivy Fire drops Dizzy. That's going to be FaZe Clan. Looks like all of that scuffle will be taken down. You have a team below you. You have all of these different teams on the edge of Main Street just trying to hold any semblance of ground before they are going to have to cross that water.
Yeah, this is awful for pretty much everybody on the west side of this river. Towards the south, Eclectic have hold of the boat. Center circle will be Vitality at Lumbermill, as well as the Heretic side off in stacks, but the zone continues to constrict, push everyone towards that Lumbermill main building. So Virtus Pro have to figure a path south. They've given themselves plenty of space. Control over that buy station. You invest that cash now. pick up all the information, tools, and utility you need, and begin your rotations.
And you see first squad, DK, some of these teams that have to battle here. Decky,
Okay.
he's going to be the one. CBRS starting to rip. It seemed to be the SMG of choice all of yesterday, and maybe we're getting a nice little glimpse of why. Absolutely lasering. Ooh, maybe a little bit of a delay on the tap there. And first squad, they're actually going to get the last lap as they will eliminate Geeke.
Team in bottom place, suddenly finding points. Axidas on 7. Just wants 3 other teams to basically fight one another so we can get that top 5. I'll be honest with you, I don't really see it forthcoming. I think he'll be one to fall before he gets that marker. Especially with Eclectic, hearing all of that noise, turning their attention towards the north. They are under pressure from Vitality though, towards the Lumbermill. And actually, Freddy's going to be sat down. So the Italians have
Freddy fatto fuori da Z Smith.
Virtus Pro, they've got twisted minds. They're trying to hold them out, get themselves pushed out, but it is not going well. Almond going huge here. Grimy still standing, not for very long.
Yeah, great fight there from Almond. He's just a little bit of a hezzy. Grimy tries to do his best to snake that box, find a timing, but Almond, he's been around a little too long here. He's not going to let that go. It's now just Lil A by himself from Virtus Pro. The shots are too good. Shifty surges forward. Virtus Pro will make their exit in 8th place. No 1 point for them. Have to go again here in the next map.
7 team rimanenti. 7 team.
All of these teams pretty much on the south side. One is going to be still on the wrong side of the river. That's Eclectic, but the white shot here tells us everything. Shifty is going to push up, take space. Almond's had himself pushed out towards Gens. This is just a lock down the north side.
Allora, Kiwi e Zanks lì c'hanno la cover. Il team messo meglio è quello di Sage, Z Smith e Squidface, che hanno il top dell'edificio grande.
Only one more team needs to drop to get that coveted 1.4 multiplier. Axidas, last player alive for first squad in the gas. Just trying to
si gioca così, le Steam?
Non
si sposta. Vabbè,
because you
morto.
are not going to be able to stay that long here out in the gas, and especially when you have Twisted Minds who know you're here. As does Eclectic. Shifty will get the kill. And there you go. Top 5 secured for these remaining teams.
Vitality hear the gunshots. They started to surge forward.
Si prendono il top, almeno uno si prende il top. Niente, torna indietro.
Norman just has to back off here.
Sì, restano back. Magari salgono adesso. Muni. Si tengono la parte bassa. Zanks e Kiwi fuori safe. Morti. Dal team top.
Shifty has an inkling. There's going to be some teams moving here, but who can get the first shots in? It's going to be Shifty. He's at least able to find one on the ramp. Obs is also down. Self-revive comes on through. Not able to get the confirm. You go inside if you are Heretics.
Smith ne fa 2.
They're going to try and hold out
Ne fa 2.
Z Smith's trying to get active here. Has dropped one. Trying to figure out where the rest of them got to. Footsteps aplenty inside of the Lumbermill. Blasted is just going to hold outside the water. He's rotated early.
Buono Z Smith. 6 kill.
V1. V2, V3, V3 as everybody scrambles and it's PBJ to dive into the waters first.
Shifty.
Popping the stems. Everybody doesn't want to try and have to go out and play in this area. J Vela has a pistol and it looks like maybe a ride in on the ground loot. Blast. Here's some of the shots. Swings wide. Nice little free kill there. 3 squads remaining. It's only 5 players. Stems come on through.
Contro uno.
Get the tap. He can. Praise from below. He might have found the timing though.
1v1.
He's going to be able to bring down Almond. Blast gets the trade.
1v1. Sì.
A 1v2.
Smith up on the roof. He's taking his time. You will use the self.
Z Smith
gets the look over. Crack Smitty. Swifty gonna back off. Just Tim keeps him alive, and now you've got to steal the 1v2.
Sono tutti vivi, hanno ressato. Hanno ressato. 3v1.
Yeah, while all that fight is happening, the buy comes on through. It's now a 1v3.
Ne fa uno.
Niente. Tries to do his best.
Ha vinto il Twisted Mind. Bravi.
And you can see it's all laps for Twisted in that game 1. They will secure the win, but that is a much better looking from Vitality than we saw yesterday.
Team De Novo quindi è eliminato subito.
Eliminato
subito.
Great start for Vitality.
I think the really important thing here is this is a fantastic map from Twisted Minds in a zone that should not have suited them. This is the opposite corner of the map. They've had to figure out the rotation. We've talked so often about the chemistry issue, the pacing issue, the comms problems. None of that is evident here in Paris.
Guardalo Shifty, bello felice.
Right time, they decide to go and clear out Cold Depot, rip that from Virtus Pro, and that sets them the foundation to move on down through the map. They could have taken their time with it, let everybody else kick that off, and then decide to squeeze.
Bello felice.
Position in this group. And they say, no, we feel ourselves, we're on fire, we're going to send, and they put so many bodies into the ground.
Yeah, take a look at some of these last final moments here. I mean, this is Vitality.
Anche il team dei Vit poteva vincere.
And it's just, maybe you're kind of kicking yourself that you let some of these kills
Peccato per il finale.
if you are Smitty, right? I mean, that was an opportunity to bring down both Omen and Shifty. Just not going to be the case.
Che vuoi dire?
You can hear some of the comms.
Watch out, come on, baby, it's a good job, baby. Fuck, I'm talking. Let's fucking go.
You hear some of the things, but you even hear them yelling about it, and I love it. I think maybe sometimes, and maybe earlier in the year, we would have seen Blast maybe go for a nice little ego chow there, try and make that swing. Instead, he makes the veteran play, go get the buyback.
Well, also, what did he do just before that? He went and rotated out early into the water. He let Shifty and Allman play inside the mill because that's where they were feeling most active, and it will be a case of Blast just putting himself into that position that we've so rarely seen him in, the team position, the selfless spot. He clears out so much of the water side, and that then puts him in a lovely little position for the win in the end. So great stuff from that team, looking very well balanced indeed. For some of the other sides out there, question marks start to rise. 5 more drops to see yourself where you want to be. Of course, you see the late stages of that map. If you are Vitality, I don't know how many kills you'll walk away with. It felt like there wasn't much in the way of action. I know that Smith himself had more than a handful. What's the rest of the team looking like? The multiplier only comes into great effect when you've had yourself a hell of a lot of kills.
Well, hey, last year, or yesterday, Vitality ended game 1 and game 2. They ended in third, so you already beat that, but we gotta get ready to hop into game 2, so don't go anywhere, folks, because game number 2 coming your way.
Prima partita vinta dai Twisted Mind.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out,
storylines that everybody at home needs to be paying attention to. So let's start talking about them. Starting off with Street Fighter 6. Yesterday, 2-time defending champion Ciao was eliminated from the competition, and he does play for Falcons. This was a big blow to the Falcons club. However, they do have 2 players left
strano che
in
siano
the
stati
competition, but they
polverizzati
are young. We're talking
istantanei proprio.
15 and 17 years old. So while they're good, are they going to be able to handle the pressure of competing on the big stage? Only time.
Allora. Dov'è la classifica? Dov'è? Dai. Dai. Uscite la classifica.
No points on the board for our CC runner-up from last year. It's going to be a big deal when it comes to our overall standings. But another big storyline out of Overwatch is the fact that Falcons were dropped down into the lower bracket. They're now going to have to fight for their chances to stay alive in the competition, and it is not going to be an easy road for them. And then on top of that, to kick off the day,
Virtus, Team Vitality, Team Vision, AGL, Team Falcon.
So many of our clubs are performing well
100
over on that
tips.
side of things. And then finally, as we take a look into
Aurora
MLBB, this is another really exciting title. First of all, Onyx versus Aurora yesterday. Fan favorite in Onyx were able to knock Aurora out of the competition. And then as I am speaking to you right now, a big matchup going on between Falcons and YG. If we're talking about Falcons, they have at least guaranteed themselves top 4 in MLBB, so this will get them some points. However, they're currently fighting for a spot in finals. And as they are a club who need to get a win on the board in order to be trophy eligible, this is a massive matchup for them. Obviously, a lot of storylines are going to be playing out here throughout the day, so we'll be checking in with the other stages and updating you all on how it's all going.
Dai. Evuzzi
Map number 1, a lot of
26.
fun for some, but for some it was quitting what they knew worked before, Coach.
Man, group stages is where you want to test some things
Guarda
out.
quanto sono
Unfortunately
focus.
for the Ravens, they tested some things out going down to where they thought the win con would be. They were right. It ended
Ma
in
Ross
Rover.
e
But they get wiped by
Gogge.
Heretics off rip. Made a huge mistake. They leave Twisted Minds alone. Twisted Minds win the entire map. Crazy story of the first map here with Group A. It really is setting the tone for the day, though.
Setting the tone for the day, we saw a little
Minchia,
look
però è
earlier at
vero,
the standings. Now things are
hanno
shaping up,
lasciato
and
tutto
I'm expecting a
all'inizio.
little bit more turbulence maybe for our Ravens. We'll see if they can get a smoother flight in the next following maps. Hey, anything surprised you in that first game other than that?
That was the main part that I
Facciamo
was
una
paying
cosa.
attention to. Is Ravens going down.
Now, a few teams mix up their drops. Here, staying on Haven's Hollow, are you expecting any more changes there?
I think definitely. If you're down at the bottom of the leaderboard, you better change something up. I mean that with the utmost sincerity. You could go home.
Allora, prima partita vinta dal Twisted Mind.
Today. So if you find yourself down at the bottom 3 and you're dropping in the same spots you were yesterday,
2 minuti dovrebbe iniziare la seconda partita.
Things up, especially as we get into the Rebirth Island, where this is a big chance on Rebirth to find a ton of kills, which is how you get those points.
Go big or go home today. Our bottom 3 teams in each group will be eliminated from the tournament. Their keys crushed, and that lovely machine way down yonder. We'll see a bit more of that later, but we've still got some games to play. Gosh, man, I don't even know where to go from here. I'm excited.
Potrebbero fare le partite ogni 5 minuti,
teams have really disappointed yet. We've had some nice sort of
E non ogni 10,
some
ogni
of those dark
15.
horses making a run for the finish line.
Yeah, and I think when you talk about hometown heroes as well, we've already talked about Gentlemates for Group B. We'll get to them, but of course the Ravens are the big ones to watch out for.
Guarda quello in fondo, quanto è focus. Lock-in dentro lo schermo.
Eyes on the Ravens, and now back to the casters for map number 2.
Thank you, Miles and Goge. Always love listening to those two boys talk. It's not about Call of Duty, if I'm being quite honest with you. But we're getting ready to head into the second map here of Haven's Hollow.
Eccoli,
Huge game that we just saw here to kickstart our day. And I want to call out that Vitality, actually we're coming into this day sitting about 8th. With that game, they're starting to crawl their way up the leaderboard, slowly but surely clawing their way back in towards that top 5 where they know they should be. That's where they would like to be able to
Eccolo,
sit.
piccolo Fede. Piccolo Fede con i Novo.
So based on what we just saw in that sort of last map there in England, what are some changes that you would like to see from some of our teams coming in here again?
I think we're going to look at that early circle and see where it heads off to. I mean, Ravens try and do the right thing, and that is to alternate their drop spot. Unfortunately, they just get wiped straight off rip. I don't mind the game plan. But for some of these sides, Vitality being one of them, the reason why I'm concerned, despite the fact they are edging closer to that top 5, is that they've largely been leaning on their Haven's Hollow performances throughout this tournament. So I'm looking
Oggi secondo giorno, domenica, la
put
finale.
themselves across that top 5 now in order to then kind of figure out if they've got the buffer for what might be an underperformance on those other maps should we see them again. All about those contests that they've been losing. But for Twisted Minds, change absolutely nothing, Jed.
Yeah.
You look glorious. Fist bumps go out in sync. T1, they also struggled, to be fair. They win at train, but then it's the worst possible rotation in the world, literally the opposite corner of the
Comunque
map.
tutti dall'anno scorso hanno cambiato team.
For FaZe Clan, it's do bloody something. They are currently sat in 16th. I don't know who has the voodoo doll on swag, but this is tough to watch right now. That being said, the gaps down there are minute. They are very small, so one big map would lift them out of trouble.
If you're a FaZe Clan fan, all it takes is one map for them to get right back into the conversation. And as we get ready to drop on in here to game number 8 of our 12-game series, you can tell this is sending all the way
allora,
to the
team
north
dei
of
Novo, vediamo dove va.
Haven's
No,
Hall,
Twisted
and
Mind.
is a party
Vanno al
already.
castello.
Twisted Minds getting active, but they're not the only team here. Hot off the deck, you find a Rev. They're out.
Shift viene bullizzato così.
Shots and Ravens deleted.
Immediately out of here, the Ravens go. Again, yesterday, it looked all right because you were top 5, but you were largely banking on one big game on Haven's Hollow. The rest of it was actually pretty ugly.
Se li wipano subito.
You get wiped first
No,
in drop
infatti.
1 and in drop
Già
2.
respawnato
They'll
Shift.
have to figure out their game elsewhere. For Twisted Minds, you'll gain a little bit more space than you expected in the early stages, but Stallions aren't far away. And some of you may raise your eyebrows at that team and not think too much of them. They were really good in meta, and this was their exact drop.
Yeah.
Crescere.
You see Kruger getting dropped there. He's kind of the anchor point of this team. Needs to do a little bit better if the Stallions want to find their way into this gameplay. Other side of the map already. CT Gaming, they find themselves at the end.
Kibi intanto fa
Mati.
Mati.
Here at Cole, so good ability for them to gain some control here on the map. However, this is out of zone. So this is just trying to open up this rotation for you here in a little bit.
To also try and give you a bit of a picture about the wider space here. Genji have
attenzione, attenzione, squagliato.
The map being Bolt and Lumbermill. Expect them to look pretty good when Fire Sale pops. They'll begin all those contracts in for now. Over a train station.
Hanno quasi soldi per l'odio. Team degli FS.
In the contest, and you'll also see Virtus Pro with their pond spot, that alternate drop that they tend to go with. So they'll start to apply pressure to Mansion for now. They're in a really good spot for a late placement.
Gli scatoloni, così.
Losing potentially this contest again, and Geeke is going to be the one to try and squeeze on in. Echo, he's the last alive, good shot. The knock on Fred is going to be huge for that respawn timer to get Spam Golva back into the map. Get his feet underneath him. The only problem here, Enigma, is that you're in a little bit of a blender if you are T1, and look where Vitality is. They're set up A-OK, but they do have Geeke towards the south.
T1 might be able to find a route back in should Geeke get active over train.
Kibi se ne fa uno.
Looking to third party that situation potentially. Keybase drops one, Zanks the anchor in perfect position to provide coverage. Dizzy should get back to his feet,
Zanks che fa l'ancora.
Under pressure immediately is phasing
In
down
che
to just
senso?
one around
Oh,
side.
team dei Novo,
They've
finalmente.
gone out of research early. I like this. They're so often held out between them and PBJ in that long, drawn out stalemate. So they decide to flip the script and instead become the hunters.
Fede ne fa uno.
Vortex going to try and reposition here, get in behind the back of Praise. Looks like he has the route. Can he get there in time to save Fede? The answer looks like no, but the trade should be there. Oh, okay, all right. Vortex made that more interesting than he probably should have.
Cosa stava per rischiare Vortex?
So, yeah, great stuff from Novo here early, getting space played out.
You're going to see that trail.
Che ne rimane uno? No, sono due, Questo sale forse?
Come on in just a little bit faster, but maybe not expecting that Novo has moved over here this quickly. Believe from top research, he's going to get in just enough damage that maybe it's a bit of an overextension from Vortex there. J Vela finally getting back towards the top here, just trying to be a little bit of a lookout, provide a little bit of a budget UAV for you to give you the information that you need as they're going to continue this battle against Novo.
Trita.
Yeah, J Vela, great positioning. Also believe we call him a franker. That's because he is an anchor that likes to get involved in firefights. Vortex with a bit of a Hail Mary send, what he's trying to do there.
Team degli H1. Pushati, sia da casette che da dietro.
For me, H1 going to get back in at the mill. Keybase top round will just bang some shots out. We get a little bit of a look at the circle, top left of your screen. Again, just going to continue to pull to Mansion, really. All these sides understand the rotation at hand for Keybase and Code. They're actually looking to play consoles. All these squads that are around them, trying to move beyond them. They're hoping that they can just rip them apart with this MXR.
Basically two strategies here between these teams.
Giocano
So play on this outside, try and hold everybody in.
Ok, bloccato uno.
Or you get Mixie at Mansion. And
Subito,
like
corri.
Maybe looking to do a bit of both. Good shots on over to Mati. Heretics, they landed here at the start of this. Now trying to cut down some of the Stallions roster. It looks like they have been able to back them up. Twisted Minds are just looking to get lost, I feel like. Maybe pop out where they can, find their 1 or 2 kills, go back into the door. But Mansion continuing to be the home for 4 or 5 different teams.
Gabe fa clamp.
I'm interested to see
Ha
how
fatto anche il
this might
wipe.
because of the fact that Heretics have glass and their loadouts, they might have won in the recent fights there. Let's take a look at Gen G. Rotating up from the south, off and land bow. They've come a long way already. A couple more check boxes to go. They'll have a team off towards their east.
Allora, seconda safe, ancora 15 team, quindi quello è stato il primo team a essere wipato.
He's looking to play off this fight, and as these next couple of shots ring out, he'll likely check back into this.
Yeah, you have 3 kills if you are Gabe already. Not a bad start there. Trades come through between Vitality and T1, but you don't get the full if you are Disrupt. So nice little tap there from Sage, and he's already on 4, so pretty solid start from Vitality. This has been our biggest gripe with this team. They can win games, they can get to top 5, but it's oftentimes just lacking a little bit of kills. So even with this nice northern zone pull, they're still doing such a great job of finding their kills, and they gotta continue to maybe do that here. They've moved up towards that chapel, and here we have Gen G laying in wait, trying to take
di nuovo quasi wipato.
These 2 teams about to collide.
Quasi wipato il team di nuovo.
Turn his attention elsewhere for a moment, but we will check in, of course, with this Gen G Vitality fight. There is a most wanted on Aiden here, so you're looking to burn through this time.
Aidan
Gen G,
con
so
Lennon
get the advance into the air. That comes through, that hands you the advantage in the fight that you're about to have.
Aidan quanto è dimagrito.
Have to decide, do they send it in the moment to draw that to a close?
Minchia, quasi non lo riconoscevo.
Disengage. VP, they decide to send it to Pond Main. It's against T1, Echo and Spanner. They go to work on Grimy, so 3v2 advantage in the fight.
T1.
Great, you can see they were just kind of coming in. They were able to get the loadout. So
Pro Adrian, destroy.
Echo up over the top, good shots onto Adrian. Will you catch him on the slide? You can. Destroy.
Adrian è andato.
There for the trade.
Buono salbaretto, diretto. Destroy. Destroy pushato da tutto il team.
This is the problem with Pond. You are just so exposed. But
Fatto,
he's going to be the one
wipato.
to surge on forward. Destroy.
Wipato il team.
Virtus Pro white.
This is great from T1, by the way. They don't have
Terra Fede, Terra Zanks, occhio. Occhio al team degli italiani. Kibi.
Still not anywhere close to top 10, so ways to go, but it's much better from a side that
Anche Blade a terra.
A little bit shaky should they lose that early contest at the train station. Gen G, they're still in the mix. They moved away from that fight against Vitality.
Fa uno,
It's now
fa Kibi.
at Gramos for Gabe Kuhn. 4 kills. Look towards Freddy. He's going to be sat inside the bomb. Smoke
Pushano Freddy.
to distract here. Lennon might have a route in to catch
Pushano full.
Good shots.
Take down Freddy on the stairs. You can see already teammate moving up from below, but you're starting to get pushed up from H1 here. You see a little bit of that shoulder, and I think that player says, I don't want no part of this. And Lennon thinks that it's clear, thinks that it's okay.
Anche Zanks eliminato.
Wipati. Will get dropped and is wiped, and now H1,
andati.
they would love people to push up onto Gen
Facciamo il
G
tifo per Rinnovo.
Make a path towards Mansion.
Yeah, they've timed this well. Just
Blade
reading
andato.
off the back of the red dots. Conal on fire.
Shift
Going to play
Kibi.
exits for a moment. For Vitality, it's a slow movement through the south side of Pond. You will have T1 on the north side, but after that, a lot of distance between you and Manchester.
Zeta Smith
Vitality, they're about to be in a fight. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a listening.
I think I'm just holding our back out and we can slow play it.
The most wanted.
4 kill. Sage.
Do you see him on the buy?
I can't see that buy. They could hit the backside of the buy. I have the buy, but they can't.
One's running to the buy now.
Yeah, you got no place.
Certo, che uno allo shop.
One's on the buy.
Bye.
10 seconds.
He res on the buy.
Let me know. Watch ammo. If I land ammo,
Lennon a terra.
I'm swinging far right, or I'm swinging into the bridge now.
I have armor box.
I'm watching the push to ammo now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in on him.
Squadra 6 wipata.
I see one H. One's one's still at H. One swinging left towards main.
I'm gonna try to take my ball. I'm getting shot in my back.
I cracked one H. One shot at H. Another one on the buy. Another one on the buy.
Ne ha tirato uno, Zeta Smith.
Yeah, that's big kill. No selves.
Terra Eco.
I got the buy. 2 at H. 2 at H. That's it. 2 at H.
Let's go.
I was getting shot from top mansion. Watch out.
They're looking at us now. Are they close?
Backside H. Wrapping deep towards their god shack.
Yeah. I see that.
Second H, right side H. You should start taking angles on these.
I'm getting shot from Mansion.
Yeah, Mansion's looking over.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, we just back down. Chill for a bit.
You got
Sage.
Put them down.
I don't have flashes.
Yeah, here.
Sage con 4 kill.
dropped someone there.
Plain comms from Vitality, but the action is still brewing as we're seeing a number of teams get dropped
Almond intanto
on
fa
that rotation.
Blighty
Yeah, glorious shots out of Smith there, not only to catch Echo, but to disrupt.
e wipeano il team 8. Il team numero 8 anche lui è andato. Shifty giù.
There will be 6 sides inside of Mansion, so a hell of a lot of action going on over there.
Vortex
Everyone
terra.
trying to hunker in, find that top 5, but the white cam's going to tell us that everybody
Mi sa che rimane
inside
soltanto
that
Blade.
main building, they're squabbling over a tiny amount of space. All those hallways will be littered with corpses very soon.
Top 10 secured. 1.2 multiplier is here. You can see it's kind of coming down. Almond currently sitting on 9. Twisted Minds, they get the zone pull, and we know that they can take advantage of that. Just going to go ahead, back on up, down towards Plaid. But on that other side, you can see Novo find themselves on the other end of Vitality. So T1 still just trying to hang on by a thread. Twisted Minds looking to hold this backside buy station. I think this is a beautiful play here. Make sure that nobody can buy their teammates back in, can buy streaks, can buy all the utility that they need to try and maybe have some semblance of regain. Twisted Minds, they would love to control this sort of back cliff area.
Yeah, they understand as well that a lot of teams are going to play in through towards the Mansion. Might
Zeta
rotate this
Smith.
back buy station, could be some easy pickings. Also, you just want that top 5 so you can let everybody else
si
kick
gioca
things
Roach.
off.
Tutto il team.
Vitality, they did
Si
rotate
gioca
with
l'angolino
the
del
T1
safe.
fight, found Novo in the courtyard, but then were held out by players on the rooftop.
Vediamo Blade.
They're trying to just jostle their way
L'ultimo
back
dei
and
Novo.
find a timing, a gap somewhere to drop in. Everything crawls to a halt, and that circle will force the sides to move inland. Again, layer cakes. You will have players top, middle, and bottom.
Okay.
Almond, he's
Almond.
actually found the timing. He's going to get the drop onto this road.
Almond, no, è morto.
Echo, Spam, they come together. They splosh out the Twisted Minds anchor, but they will
Spam
be
a
now under
terra.
pressure from Reaper.
Disrespetto a
but the
terra,
fact is
rimane Eco.
Vitality, I think, also started looking over there. You saw them sort of inching, and the second they hear all of that battling going on, they say, wait, hold up. We do not need to push up there with these teams already fighting. Let's
C'hanno
maybe
Blade
just try and
sopra.
sneak our way in. But
Blade ne fa
tries
uno.
to be the tip of the spear. He
Fa
really
quasi due.
knocked Blade up the top. You're able to get the crack and knock another one down. Skynates come on through.
No.
You swing wide, you get dropped by a member of First Squad.
Bravo,
Reaper's
bravo, Blade.
actually just going to poke his head out. He finds two. Vitality, they thought they had such a clean rotation in, but they're getting cut down from just too many different sides.
Sa che non hanno fatto
There's
punti,
still
però.
8 teams remaining in this
Almeno
lobby.
veramente pochi.
Vitality trying to hang on for a top 5 will not be able to get it. First Squad holding the line.
Insane stuff from them. Came into the day bottom of the pack. An awful performance, really. We knew that they were underdogs, but even then, yesterday was saying something. But my lord, how they've stepped up in these first 2 drops. This map should now clear them from the bottom 3. And everyone else goes on red alert. Circle's going to shift way back out.
God.
And if you're a Vitality fan right now, you're screaming in silence.
Echo.
That's exactly where you were stood a moment ago. T1
Echo ne fa uno.
under pressure. Echo will drop Almond, though. Doesn't get the confirm. Transfer is there. Gets the confirm on the second turn. At least you walk away with a couple of points.
Shifty.
And likely put a huge dent into Twisted Mind's end game plan.
Yeah, I mean,
Team
it's a great
5
play from
Team 5
Echo there.
wipato.
Unfortunately, yet again, still not top 5. Everybody is trying to hang on, and this is the problem. First Squad, they have the high ground.
Fanno
They're just
uno.
looking over at this gap.
Come stanno
He
Shifty.
tries to swing wide. Will get immediately taken out from Reaper. That puts him on 5. And already the gas continuing to move. All these players playing on the inside. First Squad on the top. Shifty's going to double back out to that buy station and try and make something happen here. Doesn't have the cash to get any of the teammates back on in. Realizes maybe I can sneak my way up towards this roof and just stay alive if possible. Not going to be the case. Praise is actually going to be the last player to go down to the gas. And here we go. Top 5.
Shifty è andato.
Yeah, Shifty does at least get that top 5. You'll be fine with
Minchia, però ha
that.
fatto una bella
If you're
rotation.
twisted, as is the dominance right now, you probably
4
care that
cervelli là dentro.
First Squad, you're in a glorious position. The problem is here, there's no real high ground or
Team
win
degli
conditions to
FS.
particularly hold. It is a circle out into
Quello messo
open land,
meglio.
no man's
Hanno la
territory,
safe.
really. They will start to play out of mini, but all these sides are going to start to
Se la giocano
overwhelm.
bene
Such
qua
is the
possono
tide right
vincere.
now. But there goes Lays. Geeke dealt with.
Allora.
Top 5 at the very least. But you do have another 3 and another 2 to deal with.
Oh, Stallions on the outside. Q18 nothing. He's
Wipato.
actually going to be the one just gets in enough
È
damage
un,
to take down. Net out to take down
3v3.
to killer. CT Gaming eliminated. Final 2 teams here in the lobby.
3v3.
It's going to be Stallions. It's going to be First Squad. 2 teams coming from the Meno region, battling it out here to take a map win.
Dash just holds the heady.
Atterrato
SMG in
uno.
hand, trying to read where these 2 players coming from. Ciao one side, Kruger the other, attempting to set up some sort of pinch. Also looking to loot the bodies. And what
Ah,
spoils
se
of
non
war do
cercano
you
un'arma
have for this final
direttamente.
fight?
I don't know if you're going to be able to find
Non lo so,
anything because First Squad has set
Non
up
so,
a
mi sa che
firing
qua
squad in these final moments here.
vincono.
Zone will continue to close in, but they
Vincono
have the best
100%.
positioning. I don't know what the idea is
E
here.
vincono.
Kruger gets dropped. Another one goes down in First
Bravi.
Squad. Fist
First
bumps
Squad.
representing such an underrepresented region.
First Squad
Mena on the
vince.
map, feeling good.
His team looking incredibly good considering everything from yesterday. They might have just put more points on the map, on the board, sorry, in one map than yesterday's 6.
Bravi,
Yes,
bravi,
as
bravi,
is
bravi.
the difference in performance. A squad that is clearly VOD reviewed, a squad that understood the task, the assignment coming into today. That map by itself might have just guaranteed them at least through to tomorrow. So great stuff for this LATAM South.
Cosa ho letto? Cosa ho letto? Team De Novo messi male, messi veramente male. Anche gli FSL, cioè giovane, anche gli Eclectic messi malissimo. Si devono svegliare, altrimenti qua è finita. Questo è un team un po' grosso. Quello si è portato il cuscino. Dai, 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 dai.
Us and chaos, and well, maybe reap some rewards for some of these other teams as well. But that's all we have here for Haven's Hollow, my friend, is we're gonna get ready to shift gears
Eccoli Novo.
to Rebirth Island.
Dai, dai,
Players
spingere,
loading on
spingere.
up. When we come back here in a moment, we'll be dropping on in to the island.
Spingere, bisogna performare qua.
For a grand total of 300.
Minchia, non ho ancora finito.
Viral food. Ooh. What's that, bro?
Non capisco se è una pubblicità o cosa.
Well, well, well.
Bene, bene, bene.
A brilliant match number 2. You got Lace and I hold Shift here on the stage to bring you our match 2 recap. Now, we want to draw your attention more down to the bottom of the leaderboard because that's where it really counts. This is where teams will go home, keys crushed, and also their dreams. Now, obviously, the squad that just won, this is what we were talking about. You want to kind of like move your way out of that bottom 3 to still have hope.
Fammi vedere. Twisted Mind, 20 kill, 28 punti. CT Gaming, 19, 26,6 punti. First Squad, 15 kill, 24 punti. Dove sono? I Novo con 10 punti e gli Eclectic con 7 punti.
Change your fate.
Absolutely. And look at it this way. I know that like as what's happening up top, you gotta remember that you don't get eliminated today, you make it to the playoff stage or the survival stage, the money you could possibly be coming home with is significantly more. So
dovrebbe iniziare la terza partita adesso. Terza partita matta.
Especially with Latin America and Mina getting focused on right there.
Yeah, and I mean, you even have a look at FaZe Clan. You know, they are right at the bottom of the leaderboard and didn't really get to change too much in that one, but there is still hope. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about what FaZe might need to be able to do to push their way up?
They don't just need Clamp, they need Goat Clamp. I need my boy to show up and start fragging, because right now they're finding themselves in the middle of a lot of dicey situations early. They're not getting themselves set up. It just doesn't really feel like the normal FaZe clan that we often had seen from before. So my boy Goat Clamp, be that goat, dog. You know what I'm saying?
And our Shift, you know we love to put you on the spot and in the hot seat. So I've drawn a little sign for you, which is a hot take.
Okay.
Very nice of you.
Yeah, so we love it when you say hot take, and it's also
Giorno 2, 121, 76, sono in top 5. Non so quanti team passano però.
Where you at? Said they weren't going to make top 5. Currently there. My
Hey, I tried to Chili. I'm so sorry. Okay, the hot take is not to insult my drawings, all right? Because honestly, I just had to copy it off a Google image. I thought
it's not bad. It's actually not bad, but it does kind of look like a banana.
Yeah. Okay. So the hot take is obviously my drawings are terrible and not what you're predicting with our teams. Enigma, do you have any hot takes for us?
A hot take is that Shift is full of absolute baloney on the Ravens call. I'm going to be honest with you. I expect them to bounce back big time in this one. But honestly, I think if I'm looking at some of the teams in the hot takes right now, I think their vitality needs to become considerably more nervous than they look, because they very much so lent on those, well, the Havens Hollow drops yesterday, and right now they are crumbling under that pressure. Got to see much better from
la terza partita.
Yeah, my hot take is that looks more like a pepperoncini than anything.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, that's fine. You're uncultured, and you know that we'll live and learn. I agree with you. I mean, Ravens, you know, they are kind of on the outside looking in, just for the top moment. You know, not being within that top 5. But you are correct that, you know, for a team like Vitality, they got to kind of maybe look to lock in. But the reality, when we kind of look points-wise, my friend, it is a close race right now, from basically 3rd all the way down to 8th right now. Right? It's like 3rd is sitting in Gen G with 116 points. 8th is Vitality with 105. So it's still just a very, very close band that really, realistically, all it takes is these last 4 maps for any of these teams to kind of really pop off, lock in, and they could just find their way to create a gap against the competition.
Yeah, no, certainly could. We've seen it before. And for a lot of these teams who kind of operate in the mid-pack, is ensuring that that gap never really appears. In order to do that,
Almond.
Terza
partita appena iniziata, Rebirth Island.
When the other 2 maps. That being said, you fall early here, you're handing so much of the prerogative to your enemies. Into the skies we go. The circle's pulling slightly northwestern, stinks of something off towards the northwest prison. But for everybody, it's about getting boots to deck. We're going to check in first with the team that won out last map in first squad. They're in Industries. An interesting call, if I'm completely honest with you.
Hey, somebody's got to do it. Nobody really has been at this point. Obviously, the team from Indeed LATAM South knows what they are doing. Maybe you can find some success. Maybe
allora,
this additional turbine, you can third party something.
Freddy schiaffeggiato. No, Freddy ne fa uno. Stukez
at Bio, who can now look down at you, and it seems like it's just looking to be a big old action
a terra
party.
Fede, Kibi a terra Deki,
Prison, likely to be
Vortex
the same. King
per
Chalk is
Grimey.
here, trying to go ahead, hit some loot. But you have the Stallions not too far away on the other side of prison. And well, got a number of other teams as well. Just kind of trying to get a lay of the land here across some of our top squads to see where are the drops, where are we hanging out.
Adrian a terra, The Killer.
One that we know is going to happen.
Mr. Mai con 141 punti. Novo sono quarti con 85 punti. Buono, buono, buono. Eclectic sono decimi con 80 punti. Blade.
So basically a 1v3 then. At the control center, all falling apart for Novo, and they've lent so heavily on this map. They need these fights to go their way, and they most certainly don't. You just about get Blade back into the skies, but Vortex and Fede, they're dealt with again. You'll have to go and find somewhere else to regain it into the waters. If you are Novo, a terrible start.
Yeah, hey, huge drop from FaZe to control that center side. This is something that you needed. Shift called it out. You wanted to see more on a Gold Clamp. Winning a nice little early win like that is a way to make it happen. Down here at Bio. T1, they get this for free, and when you got a VS Recon in the hands of somebody like Spam, with so many players diving in and out of these different areas, he might just be able to kind of line it on up. The player is weak. That's an easy kill for him. For Eclectic, it's about staying alive in the prison side. Raven starting to push. The swing is there. Good damage, but King Chalk, he's just too good with it. You drop Keybase, you drop Freddy. Two members of Eclectic gotta say goodbye.
So often talks about why the Ravens are strong as they are. It's because
non capisco perché adesso è Zanks che fa l'ancora e non è Freddy. Oh, Vortex morto.
You see it right in that moment. Nielsen hits the first. Here's drop. Trades off. Immaculate. Teeny
in acqua.
Swimming around, trying to get himself
in 10 in acqua, veramente, tutti qua.
Just trying to clear all this out. Zeppa was the one yesterday, working things with the machine pistol. Unfortunately, yeah, he's just got the semi.
Morto Zipa.
Against net odds. So Heretics off to a poor start here in the Rebirth Island. Let's take a look at Turbine. What's
T1 disrespect.
Looks like you're just going to play cleanup on some of these players that have been dropped. I think if T1 realizes how many regainers are happening out here, they could definitely use this opportunity to just get some free kills. And it seems like you see Destroy is over there, potentially looking to do the same as well.
Possono letteralmente farmare qua. Possono farmare 1000 kill.
Are just trying to hold their ground and maybe find kills, be the sharks in the water, disrupt. He's going to be the one to be the apex predator from land and just try and clean out where he can. Ravens, they've decided to move on down to Control Center, continue their path of carnage from prison, and now they're starting to get into the mix.
Yeah, very much so establishing dominance over large portions of the map. If you are the Ravens, King Chalk wants to get through Mini, squeeze up onto the bridge side, setting up some sort of pinch play with Nielsen, who's operating on the other side. King Chalk will drop the first. Nielsen's PA goes over the top and drops Dizzy, so FaZe might be eliminated here. No, you do at least get one back into the air. Concerning for a moment, and great work from King Chalk. All comers swatted away.
Adrian fa Blade.
Oh, but you see that trail immediately. King Chalk, he says, wait, let me reload the gun, let me get the plates in, let me go hunting on this FaZe player. It's Go Clamp coming in from the skies, and King Chalk down below. We'll send a couple of warning shots. Invest the streak, and he's just going to kind of be the one here to kind of sit in a 1v1. Gen G on that bottom gen side. They're starting to clean out some of these players, pushing over from Chemical as well. The water becoming a safe haven for some sorts for so many teams, but it feels like a lot of our squads have taken some sort of idea here that while you have these squads landing in the water, they are not safe for that long.
Speaking of not safe, Novo will go out as the first side to drop here on the Rebirth Island. They were only clear in 5th place by around about 6 points, so could drop out of qualification position by the end of this one should T1 get moving. The usual location for T1 is right here at Bio, actually. The Heretics have decided to regain in that location. Maybe overwhelmed the anchor, landing on him because Disrupt and Spam are pushed up towards Turbines. A little bit of a flip of position here. House swap, if you ever saw it. Teeny, who so often has gone nuclear in the past, taken over, broken records, in fact, on LAN. Feels like if Heretics can get him into this tournament, that's when they really look a different grip.
Yeah, it's kind of the storyline for a lot of our teams. They got one player who we expect to be the one frying, and it's not going to be the case. Well, we saw how it ended last time in that last game. Rebirth Island's new map. How's Vitality feeling now?
Just landed water. That's praise, by the way. I think they did it. I think praise on them did it. I'm still going, though. I'm still going, okay? Okay.
I'm going to go water.
Oh, yeah, on me. Kudley and them have entire tunnel control. Okay. I'm gonna
Sì,
keep clearing this shit.
sì,
I'm
sì,
trying to get fucking crates for this man.
I'm gonna try rotating.
Non li vedo sulla mappa, quindi mi sa che riparte.
I'm just trying to get him back. I can always come back late. You have a smoke screen too, Sage. I hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna smoke screen my top controller probably and try to get in. There's one bottom boat on my live.
Yeah, I'm just swimming right past him.
Yep. I'm gonna go try to get in that building along the coastline down here.
Yeah, guys fighting on the helipad.
Alright. Fighting at my bio.
Alright. Heard that.
Sage.
Top turbine.
Sage avanza.
Good comms from Vitality about how they want to make this rotation in and what some of the ideas could
Sage va giù.
So while Vitality starts to move their way on in, I'm looking at that kill feed and it's starting to light up with some of the usual suspects.
Yeah, certainly is. We've got a lot of activity towards
No, aspetta, in 12?
corner of the map, over towards bio side. At least 3 teams scrambling. Control center, it belongs
Gibi intanto ne fa uno, weapon team.
We'll get a look in on this war that is going on between PK as well as the Heretics. Pushed a couple of sides out in the moments before we joined them, but Teeny, he's waiting in the stairwell. He wants someone to swing.
Ooh, like just a couple of tags there. Doesn't commit to the fight. But you will just maybe try and bait this player in. Good shots, and you actually get dropped. You are able to break the armor. I'm waiting for the trade, and it's not going to come through. Lays and Decky, they do such a great job. They pinch from either side. They drop Obs and Teeny. And just like that, DK have gained control of Bio. The problem is you win this fight, you think you're going to be A-OK. You're not going to be expecting big old swing from the back. He's able to get the double crack here. I'm waiting for the other 2 players to maybe come and help, but that's not going to be the case. They see that T1 is starting to move over. They're going to slow it down just a little bit, go ahead and reposition.
Yeah, T1 looking to take back their turf here. Also, not very far away. Gen G, and well, Lace, Stukex, they don't care. Absolutely cutting sides apart. People light up in the color of peach. H1 and Twisted Minds, they're down towards Harbour side. Twisted Minds will come out on top largely in this, and again, an example of how much better they've become. Blast instant on the trades, something that they've lacked so much so over recent weeks. Looks like Vitality are out, so their suffering this afternoon continues here. They won't make top 10 or in a blender for most of the time anyway, so don't expect a lot of kills. They will continue to slide down the leaderboard.
Con tutti I colpi.
Just seeing where the zone is starting to pull. Twisted Minds, they felt no pressure, right? They had nobody really with them at Factory. Nobody's going to be hanging out red. Nobody's sure as hell going to be Harbor, that's for sure. So just slowly but surely making their way on this southern coastline. That's all they need to do. Now it feels like Gen G, holding down here in Chem, they get some ideas that Twisted Minds are starting to move on up. Some good shots coming out from Gabe. And how do you start to hold the line? Gen G in a great position, but that question's all important. How do you hold this line? This is where Gen G have become undone before, trying to watch too many things going on all at the same time. They've got to pick a fight, focus it, and then transition into the next, rather than just being simply widespread and hoping to repel all comers at once. Over at Bio,
il team degli Eclectic è ancora vivo.
È ancora vivo. Around them, set themselves up for the later positions. Top 10 should be here momentarily, but as you watch the timer at the top of the screen, Resurgence will become disabled. Everyone down to their last lives before they require buybacks.
Huge moment here in this map. This is where all of a sudden you have to sort of think twice before you maybe push an area. For Virtus Pro, they're just going to surge forward. Look at the top left of your screen to see where we're going here. Ravens on the outside of prison. You find 2 members of the clinic. Clear out this courtyard side. You might be able to put yourself in a strong position here. You got a number of teams behind you in prison. It's a lot of layers, but if you can set yourself up in the right spots, you might be able to cut them down as they try and make their way into zone.
I honestly think I would prefer he's up on the water tower, to be honest. It's relatively center zone. Don't think he needs to be involved in the prison battle. They've made a great play for Ravens to clear all that out. Eclectic had hold of it moments ago, so they've done all the right things. It's just about
numero 11 pusha dalla porta.
Get his way up to that water tower. Allow now Chog and Nias to
prova la giocata, ne fa uno. Altro Shin Dolphin, viene atterrato.
Yeah, this is such a tough spot to be in.
Disrespect si gioca all'angolino. Bravo. King ne fa uno, conferma. Si gioca la vita.
You slide on out, you find one, you back up, try and bait them into the crossfire. Allman's going to tuck himself in the corner, and you can see it looks like Blast is above. But it's just patience right now from so many of our teams, just waiting. They don't need to overextend. They want that 1.2 multiplier.
Yeah, lovely rotation by GK here. Moved in from Bio alongside the coastline and up and on towards Chemical. Waiting for Zone to tell them where they needed to be. Virtus Pro have done a lot of work to get to this position in industry, including repelling a lot of that T1 roster. But now they've got to make moves through
rimane soltanto Zanx sopra il boccione. Miasen va giù. E tutto il team va giù. Il team numero 2 va giù. Dal team di Zanx.
This is exactly what you said. Go ahead, pop yourself up on up here. Look around you. I like from Zanx that he's holding that lower level. Doesn't have to be all the way towards the top. Just let me get a little bit mixy.
Non si lancia così contro Lennon.
Zone pull and where it's kind of ended up here, it's right on top of Chemical Engineering. This is where Gen G has been hiding for so many of these teams. You are not going to have the space to try and get into zone. Lennon, he's got the MXR in hand. He's got his eyes over towards this courtyard side, and he is just going to soften up all of these targets while the rest of the teams will continue to battle.
Yeah, just stripping them of plates, denying them any sort of economy. By the way,
Zanx ne atterra un altro.
The pressure from Lennon
E poi viene ucciso.
Back out towards prison and Mati
fatto top 9.
Lennon then gets active.
Team dei Genesis.
We still have 3 teams to die though before we even see top 5. Zone's going to shift everybody northbound. Look at these teams now preparing themselves for the rotation. Virtus Pro want to get there early.
Con 9 kill.
I like this. Grimy, if he can put himself in a strong position at this roof, he could just start firing through the windows.
Non l'ho visto.
On this Gen G team, but Aiden will be the one to try and work. Looks like alongside Gabe towards the top to clear this out. Give yourself a pass.
Ricordiamoci, First Squad ha vinto prima.
You can see so many. One player from Twisted Mind still alive, just hanging out into the gas. Yet again, still just trying to play for that top 5. Almond, a veteran player making veteran plays. That's what we like to see.
Lennon ne fa un altro. Stukez. Fanno anche Deki. Squadra 9 eliminata.
Top 5 secured for all of these teams.
Grimey's already on 10. He's just trying to hold the line. Will have to back off though. Reposition has the coverage in from behind. A beautiful plays here by Virtus Pro over the top of one another. Gabe Kuhn, what have you got to offer? Because it feels like the only team that can stop Virtus Pro is the full 3 of Gen G. Zone will drag actually back in their direction.
Guarda come se la gioca. Guarda qua. Nell'angolino, bello bello.
It's 2 full teams of 3 and a handful of solos. Any of these teams of 3 just need to not get scammed by any of the solos. And you see that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to cut them down where they can. Gen G, they will hold the top side of Chemical as the zone will force you over to Helipad. T1, Echo, you have to be careful. You're going to have a player. It's Almond from behind. He claims another.
Squadra 5 eliminata da Almond.
3 teams remaining. It is Gen G, it is Virtus Pro, and it is none other than Almond.
Gabe Kuhn eliminato.
Grimy will cut down Gabe Kuhn. Can you get the tap? You got to jump
Lennon,
on up. The shots are
terra.
firing.
Gabe Kuhn eliminato.
To find it, but look who's already made the wrap. It's Almond.
Surely not. Almond up towards the helipad. He's on his lonesome.
Sono 2 contro 1.
Grimy and Adrian. Yeah, and he's just going to have to try and drop off here. Needs a moment. Grimey's got the angle. Doesn't get the knockdown.
3 contro 1 contro 1.
But look, Almond, he's at the back. He might actually have a solid idea here. The shot's coming on out. He's able to drop Adrian. It's Big Ben from the top. He might be able to put this into a 1v1. Grimy, he has an idea where he is. You break the armor, but you're not going to be able to get there. Almond, can you clean this one on up? He's going to make sure it's a 1v1.
Okay.
Can you get the plates?
Almond.
Can you reset the fight here?
Grimy,
he's tucked his tail and he's going on a long wrap.
He should ping on the map though for Almond, and yeah, Almond finds out exactly where he is. The 1v1 is here.
Bravo Almond. E ne hanno già vinte 2, Ne hanno già vinte 2, bravi, bravi.
That's why he's the captain and one of the best players to ever play the damn game.
Listen, we talked to a lot of people before even first matches started. Say Twisted Minds, yeah, they're good, but
mamma mia. Almond troppo forte, troppo forte.
I don't know what you can say now. Almond clutching up like that.
Almond clamoroso, clamoroso.
That's not just about getting you into top 5.
Alza le mani, Shift. Alza le mani.
I want to be very clear here. And to see him be able to pull that out in that game, that's a little gross.
Ok, vediamo qua il finale. Grimey.
We talked about Shifty, we've talked about the comms, the setup between the team, but it's moments like that from
ha fatto una bella giocata.
that belief into you, the electric into your veins. And quick listening.
Ragazzi, arrivo tra 2 minuti. 2 minuti. Blocco un attimo tutto quanto.
Absolutely glorious stuff from Twisted Minds. You can understand why they are incredibly excited here. It feels like no matter the odds, no matter the obstacle, they overcome. And Almond with this one slips on the gauntlet, snaps his own fingers, and does the damn job himself.
Hey, you can see the Twisted Mind fans in the venue excited about that one. Twisted Minds, they came into today top of the board. I know they would love to be top of that board by the time we get done these 6 games here today. So they can be the one crushing some keys. Reminding everybody, by over in our area of excellence here at the Esports World Cup, while underneath Call of Duty Warzone, their name sits from last year. Just a nice little reminder that they are the team that they said they were, and that when it comes to that finals map on Sunday, they will be the team we expect them to be.
Certainly looks that way, of course, for so many of the sides out there, Gen G inclusive. You're probably wanting that one back. Yeah, I think you did a lot of the right things if you're Gen G. I've talked about it. They have issues sometimes controlling Chemical. They're a little bit focused on everything rather than one fight at once. They get a lot of jobs done. But then when that zone drags back out relatively neutrally, Gabe goes big, felt like that they had it in the palm of their hands and then let it go. But either way, they've been pretty impressive so far today.
All right,
minchia, guarda piccolo Aidan, quanto è dimagrito. 200 kg in meno. Guarda quanto è fitta adesso. Mamma mia.
We're not going to get to the desk just yet. We got to do an interview here on the stage. I'm here with Clamp from FaZe Esports as FaZe trying to claw their way back out of that bottom 3 to get to that survival stage.
Clamp,
what's going on here? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, yesterday was like a really tough day for us. I mean, like, our best map is control, like River for sure. And yesterday we got like wiped like off the rip. So yesterday was really tough. Today, I mean, we just made like 2 mistakes. I made one on this map. We made another one on the first map, you know. But I still believe in us, you know. I mean, we never stop fighting here, you know.
Hey man, you never stop fighting, and I can feel your heart from here, all right? I can feel that passion, you know.
Tempo 2-3 minuti dovrebbe iniziare anche la quarta partita.
Crazier things happen on this stage, and all you guys do is got to get into that top 4.
Mica se vincono ancora i Twisted Mind, crazy. Hanno venduto Aidan, hanno fatto la compravendita con hanno venduto Aidan, Z Smith, sono presi Shifty e l'altro.
I mean, honestly, I just feel like, I mean, at this point, we're just gonna play like we know we can, you know, like yesterday maybe we were kind of.
Ne hanno vinte 2 su 3 fino adesso.
Because we got like 2 really bad maps, or maybe like 3 in a row, so we're playing like kind
bello
of.
Crazy, bello crazy.
We're not playing that way, but I mean, still we're making mistakes. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna play confident and, you know, like qual at least for LCQ, and then we will clutch it up right there.
All right, there you go, man. Hey, keep playing confident. Best of luck to you, Clamp.
Pubblicità. La guardiamo? Sì? Sì? Via. Allora, qua rimetti così. Minchia, 7000 cristiani che stanno guardando la live. Vai. Minchia, pensate che la mappa di zombie uscirà il giorno prima dell'uscita della beta di...
So we swung by the STC arena because more storylines have been unfolding here in Overwatch. So Jenny, you need to walk us through what's been going on.
All right, most important one of the day. Falcons got knocked out by T1. I repeat, Falcons is no longer competing in Overwatch when they were the title defenders, by the way, which is insane. God. T1, this is really good for them. They are now guaranteed a top 8 finish in Overwatch, considering how well they've performed in TFT and also in League of Legends. Climbing up those rankings a little bit. Now, the first game of today was Twisted Minds against VP. Twisted Minds knocking VP into that lower bracket. Also quite significant because VP is currently doing quite all right when it comes to the club championship points. They're not not confirmed top 8 yet, but last year they were tied 4th for the club championship with Twisted Minds. So a bit of a rivalry going on over there as well.
Which means that the win that Falcons need once again eludes them across multiple stages today. This is going to be tough, but we'll pay attention to the rest of the squad, see who's getting points on the board, and of course update you on everything later on. Storylines are happening here in MLBB, so Ton, you need to break everything down because all eyes were on Falcons.
I know everybody's been coming along because it is a big result. Falcons losing out in the semi-final, nearly completed the reverse sweep against Yangon Galacticos. They were so close, but I kind of
il team dei 9 si deve svegliare comunque.
Bad of a result for Falcons. I think
Di nuovo,
realistically they'll look at it and sort of say,
minchia,
look, a top 4,
sta venendo wipato subito. 3 partite, 3 wipe istantanei, anzi 2 wipe istantanei.
Of course the team would have wanted to go on to win it.
Nell'ultima
That's what
Blade
they
se l'ha
would have
giocata.
wanted. But realistically
C'è nella
speaking, I
seconda.
don't think it's too bad a result. All the things considered, some of the other teams that have dropped out, Liquid, Vitality, some of the top squads that we were expecting to go on and do really well here, it's a bonus for Falcons, if anything, that they picked up as many as they did, as opposed to their opposition. As far as the teams who have made it the
Dovrebbero
grand
iniziare
finals,
tra
though,
poco.
Yangon
2 minuti,
Galacticos,
forse
that's a
1.
massive thing. Club Championship, maybe
E
not
inizia
so
anche la
much,
quarta
but
partita.
for those guys, that's massive for that region to make it through. The prize pool here at MLBB, $1 million if you win it. And never mind anything else. So, I mean, they guarantee themselves minimum $500,000. Massive
$1
moment here at
milione.
MSC.
Definitely not too shabby, but the win still eludes the Falcons club when it comes to the club championship side of things. Will they be able to do it in any of the other games? We'll have to wait and see. It's all popping off today. Now we've swung by the Allianz Ball to check in with what's been going on in Street Fighter 6, because we mentioned Falcons earlier on in the day, and what's been going on?
Yeah, because so Falcons have just been knocking each other out. It's a crazy business, rough bracket for them in the lower bracket as well. So they faced each other in the lower bracket. One of them had to go home. It's Crime versus Mickey. And really unfortunate for Mickey, he got knocked out of the competition. And that means there's only 1 Falcon left. They come in with 3. And
Ci interessa di
world
questo.
champion from 24 and 25 at the EWC. He got knocked out in the first day, got bounced 0 and 2. And now they're knocking each other out. So really unfortunate day for Falcons across the board, not just in Street Fighter, but in all games. And now we've got the same, where Zeta Division are playing against Zeta Division.
I don't know what is going on this year at EWC, but the storylines are not writing themselves. They are absolutely all over the place. Our defending champs have been struggling for 4 straight weeks, still haven't found the win that they need in order to become trophy eligible. And like you said, that's the case across all of our stages here today, except mine. There's still some chances available for them over in Warzone. So we'll have to see how everything goes throughout the rest of the week. We'll be checking back in.
Thank you, Glitter, for just running around
finalmente.
everywhere here at EWC 26 and getting those club championship updates. Luckily for us, Falcons is still yet to come. They have not been eliminated, even though they're currently not in the top 5 to go directly to the match point finals. But for everybody currently watching, don't forget to go sign up to the Esports Foundation Creator Program. Just join, earn rewards, and just maybe we'll get a chance to interview you on the final day. But now we got to talk about what just happened, because we were expecting Twisted Minds to start off
Come se
hot,
facessero vedere almeno la
and boy, were
classifica.
they actually able to do that shift. And I know you got something on the illustration for us too.
I know my boy Hector is sitting on the watch party right now saying, no way these guys are doing this again. Yes, sir, I am. Let's take a look at the end of map number 1, because Twisted Minds have been making unbelievable late game rotations. I don't have
Minchia,
3 hands,
veramente.
so
Hanno fatto una
we're gonna do
rotation
it right there.
folle.
Let's jump into this thing. Okay, we're at the last circle, and this is the most bizarre final pull that we could have possibly had. Let's just tally the situation of where exactly the zone is pulling. We got to go from the top side all the way into water. That doesn't feel very good if you are currently looking at Twisted Minds, but they're going to do some quick maths. We got 5 squads left, 14 players. It doesn't feel good to have to rotate right through Lumber itself. So what do you decide to do? This is the late game column that we're talking about. That's so magical. They're going to rotate around Lumber, but not just around. You don't want to be shredded up by the players up top. So you're going to go on the inside mostly to make sure you're in a position to actually rotate out to water without being harassed by all of the teams that are currently inside of Lumber. So let's just kind of speed this up and watch exactly how they make this play happen. You're going to get a really nice free cam look in a moment to showcase how close to the building that they hold. Right here at this point, you can see them making this rotation on the inside. You do not want to be in a spot to where you're sitting and dealing with all these teams that are on the outside. The reason for this is pretty simple. You want to get into a spot, if I can get
Minchia,
this
peccato
thing
che poi non l'ha
to
confermato.
be on the outside of this circle first.
Ma tanto hanno vinto
You do
comunque,
not want to
quindi.
be in the middle of all of this nonsense that's happening inside of here. So your anchor is going to go wide, eventually find a couple of kills, and then you're going to let your inside players play for picks. That's where Shifty finds a couple of eliminations, and most importantly, stops Team Heretics from getting outside of the circle. The last team left remaining is the team that you're seeing right here in Vitality, and yes, they do find a lot of eliminations on the inside, but from Blast's POV, this is the space that they create to give themselves a chance to win in the late game. We saw it in map 1, we
Qua
just saw
potevano
it there again in
vincere.
map number 3 with Almond sitting behind the play, waiting for it to
Il
unfold in
team,
front of them. It's brilliant, and that's why they get the
Zeta
points they do.
Smith.
And it's fantastic to see the
Hanno giocata male.
even with a pull to
Hanno
the
giocata
water,
veramente
still
male.
some natural cover. So you're
Avevano il
out
top,
in the
avevano
open,
tutto.
but
Sono morti.
trying to fight that from Lumber, it's not an easy fight to take from the rooftops. So it's really good play calling coming up from Twisted Minds. We saw it a lot yesterday. It's the reason why they won 2 maps yesterday, and it's the reason why they're pretty much favorites to be topping this group.
We just saw it with Alman as well, being able to just clutch up, even though he's a solo, just going for it. I do want to take a look at the overall, though, because now we're going to have to switch our focus to the top 5, because remember, the top 5 will be moving on directly to match point finals. The bottom 3 are going to get those keys crushed. And if we're looking at it, one team that we're kind of looking at Twisted, honestly, it's pretty much going to be guaranteed miles. They don't have anything to worry about. They could end up making somebody else's life harder, though.
Well, that's the thing. Top Dog's got the bark end of the bike right now.
234
Versus Pro,
punti. I primi 5
tailing as
passano
well. I mean,
direttamente alla fase
These
finale.
are a lot of teams you expect to be there. The second page for me is where things get really spicy indeed. T1 on the bubble there, just chasing Ravens. The next few maps.
Sorry, who did you say was in fifth?
Essential. In 5th, it's Ravens.
Oh, did Nigma catch that? Because I'm about to sign out with Oscar Meyer with this baloney I'm selling.
Devono fare il partitone adesso, fare 30 bombe.
Well, actually,
più
you've been right
vittorie.
on your hot take, because you said that Ravens wasn't going to end up making it top 5. Today, they started off by trying to switch up things. It didn't end up working out up until this match when we actually saw them waking up.
I'm saying, I'm looking for but to be fair,
Poi
like,
si ha
T1
il
and Nova
nuovo
haven't
che
done my
Eclectic
hot
stanno
take many
giocando
favors.
malissimo.
They've just been okay today, so.
Crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay can get you this far.
That's true.
At this level, okay is okay. But I mean, the second page, and once we get to that, that's where things get really, really dicey. Because bottom 3, those teams will be going home, and that's where stuff gets rough. What an unbelievable result for First Squad. Yeah, they are the heroes of the day. They have won the hearts and minds from 14th or 15th. I mean, from bottom 3 to that 9th spot with a little bit of cushion.
Mamma mia, che
Starting off the
scempio.
day, First Squad in last place too. Getting that
74
win makes
punti.
them jump up out of those bottom 3. And also something to keep in mind is
Devono passare, devono fare un po' di punti. Una ventina di punti
servono
per entrambi, Eclectic e Nova.
Pretty much hot drop at the start of match 1 as well.
Per quanto vuole iniziare?
Didn't really, it kind of ended up going their way, but not really.
No, I mean, First Squad, they knocked PBJ into an elimination spot. They also kind of put some pressure onto the other elimination teams to really step up, and we saw it in that game 3. It was a top 10 placing for H1, a top 10 placing for FaZe as well, just missing out of top 5. If they can continue to find themselves in positions like that and mix it up with some slaying, you can start to see pressure on those teams just above elimination
pubblicità della
to
Saudia.
maybe have their keys
Play
crushed.
Saudia.
I wouldn't say it's like a certainty to see these teams eliminated today. There's still a chance to pop off.
I would say it is a surprise to see FaZe and PBJ in the bottom 3. I think just
Minchia,
based on the
veramente,
trends that we've
FaZe
seen
all'ultimo
across screens,
posto.
especially for PBJ, they've
Clamoroso.
lost a presence that hasn't shown up
Clamoroso.
online in particular. Praise the rookie. Has
Almeno
not
se la
put the
giocano
numbers
sul
together that
multi.
you're hoping he would in his debut. So see who can kick it up in the last 3.
If we were to close our eyes and just throw a dart randomly towards those bottom 3 teams, we already saw a bottom 3 team get out of there, right? In First Squad. Is there any other team that you're currently seeing with what we have seen so far up to this point? We have last 3 games here for Group A that could possibly push themselves out with the win.
I'm gonna
Ok,
go PBJ.
altre 3
I think they've
partite.
been in a position to get to the late game. They're not tallying the same kills that we would have expected to by their metrics.
Altre partite perché alle 6 c'è l'altro stage, c'è il gruppo
Just comes down to closing.
B.
I gotta say, I haven't really been that impressed with Vitality. I think that they're even towards the bottom of the leaderboard, and we're seeing them get to late game at times. They're not really playing that with kills as well, so the pairing isn't there. I think that they're in trouble right now. I haven't seen enough to kind of show that they can break into that top 5 at all, and we should be worried to see what they can do.
I think any and all these teams can drop. I think all of them go down. I think all
Guardalo,
of them go up. The thing you have to worry
Sage.
about is not so much those bottom 3 teams.
Sage però quest'anno non dà spettacolo, come l'anno scorso. Forse magari domenica. Domenica si becca davanti Zoka.
Your fate no longer being in your hands. It's now in the hands of all the other squads in that drop with you. It's a terrifying place to be as a competitor, and I really wish them all the best of luck.
Yeah, in game 2 we saw some teams
comunque poteva andare molto peggio, poteva andare molto peggio. Comunque i Novo hanno fatto un bel po' di kill, quindi va bene.
We saw first squad getting the win, and I believe Barney got a chance to talk to them as well.
What's up, guys? Barney here, backstage with, of course, Axedas from First Squad, a team that is really showing up on day 2 of the group stage. We're going to have a little chat. Axedas.
Came in as a team that was massively under-respected, undervalued on pretty much everybody's predictions. And they said, we don't care about any of that. Why don't we trust one another? What's going on with us? They go out, they fix that, they put their arms around one another, and they've come out looking great today. And you could feel that positivity indeed radiating from Axedas in the interview. So yeah, lovely to see. Of course, still 3 more drops to go, but they're in a great position to make sure that they upset all the odds and make it through to Saturday.
Well, here we go. It's your last chance to earn some points on Rebirth Island before we get ready to head on over to Fortune's Keep. So let's go.
Rebirth.
Well, this zone is looking maybe a little similar to that last game, a little northeastern pull that we have there as I'm looking at the drops and where do
Team dei 9 sempre Control.
As we take a little bit of a look for Twisted Minds on your screen. Well,
Blade, Blade a terra, Blade ne fa uno, Blade conferma Dizzy.
Not nearly as alone as they usually are.
No, but what I will also say is neither of Vitality, by the way, typically land living for free.
Team di Twisted Mind si gioca
on them, so the Vitality struggles continue, while PBJ are trying to figure their way out of the hole they've dug. Control center we go, back.
Clamp a terra, no, Clamp conferma terra Blade, conferma Blade, Vortex conferma Clamp. Fede fa Grimey.
Fede just goes to show if you are these two sides.
Devono chiuderli adesso. Devono chiuderli adesso, per forza.
I wonder if the play there is just say, let me just try and find one or two, cause some chaos here, and then let our other teammates fly forward. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, not going to be the case. Immediately drop Novo, just playing together too well, and kind of throwing this FaZe roster into a bit of a tizzy yet again. Tizzy for Dizzy is not exactly
team dei FaZe contro il team dei Novo. Dizzy a terra. Team che pusha dalla nave. Sale uno. Team di Destroy.
But Rebirth Island has been where they have picked up so many banger maps historically. So could they go yet
again? Già fatto l'odio.
All about these three hunting in packs, moving with the SMGs, and no better place to do it than Control Center. But they have Virtus Pro hunting them down.
We were wondering when they were going to move up. Looks like the time is now.
Ok, vediamo Fede.
A little bit active here.
Vediamo Fede sotto.
Just so many different areas.
Fede ne fa uno.
Ravens, they've also made their way down here, and just look at the kill feed. You might think it's the New York Stock Exchange with how much trades is happening here. You drop on down, you run into another.
Fede ne fa un altro. 4 kill per Fede.
One more. King Chalk says goodbye. Novo, a little bit of patience, nets them continued power over Control Center.
The thing is, for Virtus Pro and Ravens, these are essentially free hits because their anchors are in pockets of space. You can just keep going. If you are fraggers or the support, you're using King Chalk, you die. So watch, go back to my boy, get my loadout in, go yet again. Same thing for Virtus Pro. That's why they take control over the boat. Novo endlessly have to be careful because their anchor is never really safe.
Intanto Zanx atterra stu kids. Vediamo Zanx che si gioca sempre il boccione. Freddy e Kiwi. Freddy atterrato. Adesso vengono pushati. Team GK.
He throws it up into the stairway. He might pop a two-piece. Instead, it bounces just a little bit too close, hits more of the big open room, and they see that. They say, yeah, okay, cool, man.
Ok, inseguito fino alla fine.
We're just going to wait for you to push this. Great job from Geeke for the time being.
Vediamo Gabe Kun.
Genji still down here towards that other side. Looks like they will find themselves in a bit of a scuffle with T1. Disrupt gonna open up the fight here. We'll catch Gabe Kun running. You don't have to worry about it too much just yet. Lennon, he'll get some good damage back you down.
Yeah, will do. You also have Aiden set up over in Chemical, so you should be completely fine for now to take this engagement. Echo, by the way, does a great job just as we see Spam and Disrupt start to engage. Genji at Industries. Heretics are trying to play the northern coastline. Echo stops that in its tracks. So lovely setup for T1, who sit just outside of the top 5. Only 1 point as such when we came into this map. So a banger here. Puts them on track for their targets.
Cracca uno.
Disrupt strips yet more plates from players in front of him.
Intanto altra parte della mappa, Kiwi a terra, Sage a terra. Disrespect, a terra 1. Lo chiude. E team 6 wipato.
CT Gaming, Heretics make an early exit
Destroy.
here on this last map of Rebirth Island.
Destroy.
And already
Team dei VP.
Virtus Pro continuing to do this nice
pusha così, ok. Bello. A terra 1. Bravo Grimey.
Grimy, he's going to be the one to fly on over. Him and Destroy, they'll work together. You catch Joad here on the outside. Nice
come pusha?
Pistol in hand.
No, non ci arriva.
He has one more bullet. Maybe the nade will do it for you. I respect it from Grimy. He says, I don't need to go hunting right now. I don't need to get caught out of the water. Don't worry.
Blade a terra. Damati, però atterrato a Fede. Hanno wipato il team dei Novo.
And it looks like Novo maybe have found their end against FaZe Clan.
Yeah, that's that problem with having your anchor involved in the fight at all times. We'll come back to it in a moment, though. Ravens have a lot to juggle. You've got Twisted Mind sat directly in front of you.
Team di Novo wipato di nuovo.
From living quarters, and as such, it's going to create a little bit of a pincer by its lonesome. Heats has actually done very well in the kill feed there to pick up Believe, but King Chalk and Nearson will check back, ensure that this is cleared out because you don't want to be trapped between these two sides.
Yeah, this is a huge sort of triangle that we have going out here. PBJ could put themselves in a fantastic position here to hold out 2 superstar teams and maybe get the points that they need to get them out of that bottom 3. But they have to play it correctly if they want to. A lot of our top squads here just vying for position, vying for squad, opportunity just to find the kills that they need. Circle will continue to close on in as more northeast we go.
work their way into Industries.
Spam comunque sempre col cecchino.
Peering over with the sniper. We've seen this alternating role between him and Disrupt before. Disrupt, by the way, having a fantastic tournament. We've called him out through this year.
Aspetta, un'altra kill. Siamo a 6.
In relation to Spam in terms of the slaying department, but well, he's fixing all of that here in Paris. Let me tell you. He continues to strip away. He's going to fly up towards Turbine here. Does have company from Virtus Pro.
E viene schiaffeggiato per forza.
But does a lot of work with his life there.
Dai, team di Adrian.
Go ahead, FaZe Clan. It's looking like a good map for them. Let's take a listen in to see if they have what it takes to get out of the bottom.
Minchia, qui al team di FaZe. Clamp a terra Adrian. Atterra anche Destroy. L'ultimo dicono che in acqua, infatti si vede.
Aguántame. Juntos, ya estoy abajo. Acuérdense que tenemos gente en el agua, vengan.
Aquí a mi derecha.
Subió.
Suban, papi, suban de vuelta. Sí.
Lo tienes en la bike, sin la bike.
Espérame.
Aún no agarré.
Nos tiré cluster. Sí, está en el techo.
En el shack también.
Ya nos cayeron los de BP, papi. Detrás, aguas, me estoy bloqueando. Ahí no en el agua, son dos nada más aquí. Uno por donde llegamos. De mi derecha me tumbó. Abajo dos, abajo.
Clamp, a terra 1.
No puedes sacarla.
Puedes revivir en tienda. Dale.
E scappano. Wipeati anche team dei FaZe.
Vamos, you make your way into the turbine and you just get caught at the wrong time. FaZe Clan had everything going their way, but they drop outside of any type of multiplier. It was looking good. You heard the confidence. You even heard them say, calm down. Let's just chill. We don't need to do anything. But it's just too many teams at the turbine that push them out and cut them down.
Yeah, hell of a lot going on there.
E wipe il team di Lenun.
Five-man contest over at the turbine, and eventually you were felled. But the Ravens, you're sniffing out a lot at prison. PBJ have made their way here, so the next targets for King Chalk and Nielsen. A huge development off of our screens, by the way. Twisted Minds have moved all the way up the coast,
Sanks a terra, Kibi a terra.
Chemical, but off the map, and now control essentially the entire center of the
Sage.
circle. It's putting themselves in a spot to continue to dominate this lobby.
You can see Vitality still alive. They're actually going to be one of these squads that have taken a home of Turbine.
Shift
Just on the
terra
outside,
Freddy.
you have Virtus Pro, who they were trying to get Mixie at Turbine. It got a little bit too worse for wear for them, so they're going to go ahead, back on up, hold the
Vediamo
line
Adrian.
here at the shack.
Disrespect
But
contro Adrian.
They get a sense that VP's in here, and Disrupt is the one trying to work
Anzi, contro
some
tutto il
of
team,
these
guarda.
angles. Good
Come se la
job
gioca.
there. He finds the timing,
A terra
slides
1.
on in, will cut down Adrian. Where's the trade from Virtus Pro? It's not there. Plates go in, he resets the health, and he's looking to get back active.
Prima se ne va.
Well, by the way, to ensure he was always staying in a position where Echo and Spam could cover.
Destroy.
He's not going to send this, although actually
Destroy, bello,
bello. Just wanted to stay, keep himself on that
Disrespect.
corner. Boys should be able to buy him back in the Industries buy regardless.
Hai fatto il team
PBJ,
16.
They're dead. They're out of here. We'll not get that top 5 multiplier. Woes continue. Battle done.
Sage a terra Destroy.
To go. Vitality swings in, and you have to finish this fight quickly because Resurgence is disabling.
Lovely stuff out of Vitality. Time it well. Understand that there is a situation ongoing, and move up once those red dots start appearing on their radar. Ravens, though, are about to do the exact same thing to them. They hear the gunfights. They want to get involved.
Sage cosa a terra.
Ripped down
Vediamo
to a
King.
slither of HP, but will survive just for now.
I think the Ravens make a great call there. They could have flown at Vitality, but they look at the zone and say, the second we do, we know T1's over at Bio, we're going to get held. We're going to get gate kept. It's so easy for us to get third party. It's way more important we get to that 1.4 multiplier. We have the points. We're sitting pretty okay in top 5, but they want to feel comfortable heading into Fortune's Keep.
Vediamo. Il team 2, il team 5. 14. Team italiani andati al bretto. Classico.
As you back off here, the call might be being made. Gentlemen, do we wish to continue to get involved in this, or do we play in for top 5?
Tough decision. But for other squads, you don't really have a choice. You have to take the fights if you're going to try and make it deeper into this map. For Ravens,
King fa Sage.
Outside, you catch Sage. That's the anchor from Vitality. Getting dropped underneath you. It's Smith and Skullface. 2 of the 3 S's trying to work together. But I think they're going to try and lay in wait here. They understand we cannot take this fight. We cannot take the 2v3 on Ravens above us. how do we get out of this industry side? How do we get in? I guess maybe they can make their way over through the tunnel. Try and play in underground. Get over to Chemical if you can, but that is a hell of a fight.
7 team, 17 persone. T1 disrespect. Con 9 kill, attenzione. Zeta Smith eliminato. Anche Skullface. Team 14 eliminato.
And it might force the Raven squad through the tunnels as all of T1 turn and face in this direction.
That's another top 5. Miss 4 vitality. So many of these squads still outside of zone. Who's in zone with full control? It's still Twisted
Vediamo
Minds.
Spam.
T1 here on the outside. You saw them getting a little bit mixing into that fight with the Ravens.
Dreamy.
Hold the line yet again. One more team needs to drop to get to that top 5. All of these squads know it. It's one player from Virtus Pro Live. You got one player from H1. Other than that, it's 2 Ravens and all 3 squads still alive. Stallions, one of those ones that they might be able to sneak their way over.
Spam.
Do they make this read?
Atterrato.
Ravens are close by. Trades
Da
are coming
Jawad.
up through. Zone is closing in. T1 goes for the res here. I don't know if you're going to be
Shifty
able
confermato.
to get it.
Non need.
You're now just sort of trying to play as a full 3. Spam, no plates. On the
Eco atterrato.
Kruger's gonna find Echo. Disrupt swings. Puts number 10 on
Disrespect
the board.
conferma quello che ha atterrato
As he gets
Eco.
the drop in zone, pulls back over to Bio. T1, they might be in such a good spot.
Atterra un altro.
But actually, Ravens are going to move first from industry.
Atterra
They go
Blatz.
back through the tunnel, get themselves set up now, so they'll be able to try and hold everybody out. It's on T1 to catch essentially what remains. Spam's going to try and loot a couple of bodies. There will actually be one player from
No, va a restare.
beneath him. Doubt he reads that.
Almond.
Blast and Shift have actually dropped amongst this. And Almond trying to make something happen.
Almond prova la
In the
giocata.
gas. Feels a little bit like a Hail Mary. Not that it really
tosta,
matters much in terms
tosta.
of the grandstands, but it will be Ravens in control of win condition. Disrupt, trying to upset that. Somehow totally misses Almond? And as Almond hits the buy for Shifty to fly back in, Ravens are just playing cleanup.
Yeah, all they need to do, it was both teams trying to play for that
Crazy sta scena.
to get the players, the teammates back
Shifty.
in. But look at this, they've been able to do it. But unfortunately, Shifty, he's still here at the top. He's
Mamma
still
mia,
ripping.
Shifty.
Stallions dropped into the back as King Chalk will cut down Echo. 7 players remaining across 4 teams here. It's all 3 players from the Ravens. It's 1 player in Shifty from Twisted Minds, a T1 player, an H1 player, but you
Se ne
hit
va
the
così.
buy yet again in
Chi ce lo vuole fare?
drops Disrupt.
And the zone will drag again. All these sides must shift themselves. Ravens are trying
Ma
to
non
get
ce la-
ahead. You read
ce la
that
fa.
Spam's just in behind you. King
Ah, infatti è
Chalk
morto.
sees him, cuts him, drops him. T1 are out of here. Ravens now solidify themselves with a top 3 at the very minimum. 3 V1v1.
3v1v1.
One of them is Blastides, and he is eventually
Race
stepped out
andato.
by Nielsen.
Yeah, we're not going to see another one happen here.
Comunque.
It's a 3v1. Conal will get dropped.
Bravi,
And
bravi.
Ravens Esports will
Ravens
claim
Esports.
a win here on day 2. Shift had a lot to say about Ravens, but I might go ahead and suggest we do a little bit of content to the boulangerie for him, because he's got a lot of baloney coming his way.
Certainly does. Look,
Bravi,
we'll check back
bravi.
in once we see the final scoreboard. But the Ravens coming into this with the 2nd best team on Rebirth Island. Had not looked that way so far in the tournament. Felt inevitable that they would eventually start to light things up here. But I've got fist around the throat of this lobby, and they do a great job to close out.
Nice, très bien, très bien. Très bien. Il est au-dessus, je crois. Je pense. Ouais, sur moi. Ouais, sur toi. Track. Ah, let's go, baby.
Confermata così.
Let's go, baby. Jouez, les gars.
We look yesterday, this was the best FaZe clan. Look, they looked solid on Fortune's Keep, so I need them to take that momentum from before. They might be able to claw their way from beneath, because when we look at the teams that are around them on that bottom 3, it's basically the bottom 5. It's teams from 12th down to 16th. This could really mix it up after these Fortune's Keep, and when we kind of look at it, a lot of those other squads like Heretics, CT Gaming, PBJ, they're some of the worst in the lobby when it comes to Fortune's Keep. FaZe clan, actually not bad.
No, FaZe clan are very much in the middle of the pack. PBJ only achieved 10 points across 2 maps yesterday on Fortune's Keep, so they have got to figure out what they are doing. Yesterday, the zones pulled to middle of the map, literally top mid, which we don't see very often, and then it was off towards the bay. We are going to get a look at the zone early here, and that is wild. That's way off towards the east. I actually expected Winery to see a lot of competition. It gets given for free. That is insanity, considering what that looks like. Gen G taking a hold of that nice and early. Lighthouse will belong to Novo. That's where they've moved on off to. Keep. That's for the Ravens, who are looking to cement themselves on through to Sunday.
Listen, man, I'm watching this kill feed, and Vitality is already hot off the press. I'm seeing kills against GK, kills against Virtus Pro. So many, and now H1 is in the mix, getting a little bit of fights in return here. So obviously a battle happening towards the Keep, but everybody is just hot off the presses, guns hot for these last final 2 maps. 5 teams will make it to Sunday. 3 teams got to pack their bags and hit Charles de Gaulle.
It's a long line, if anyone's wondering. It takes you a hell of a long time to get through that airport. So you might want to start getting them done already if you're PBJ. But it will be Gen G in complete control over Winery. They are fine here. Loadout in hand already. Don't know if you can hear the Dan laughing off to my right-hand side. I'm very proud of that one. Spam sitting atop the tower with the sniper in hand. We've seen a lot more of this today. Feels like that's an adjustment out of T1. Again, he brings an extra element and dynamic, does that young man, because he can just run with an SMG as one of his main weapons. He's such a talent. And in the lead for the Rookie of the Year at the minute by many people's standards. VP, you got company. H1 are going to meet you at the bay.
Who's going to swing first? Looks like it's Ivy Fire. Stim is there. You let your teammate fly forward, though. Unfortunately, the trade comes on in. Kudli dropped. Ivy Fire gets the full. You can't get the second, though. Grimy. He'll get a nice little 2-piece on H1. Last player anchoring off the distance.
You got to deal with this quite early as well. So it's great stuff from Virtus Pro. They will continue to repel that because they must get a hold of the buy station before other teams start to arrive. Speaking of which, FaZe clan, they're patrolling even the north side of the coastline. And they're going to push beyond the player who is from Ravens that's pushed out from Keep. Actually, just sneaky their way in through the backside, but Eclectic usually operating out of Grotto. They'll be forced to rotate out of here early. You can see it just as Keybase's attempts to find space. He's cut down by the first squad.
Yeah, first squad, they're going to send those shots out, but you can see already that T1 has an idea that there's probably some of these first squad players around them below. So as you start to hear some of these bullets go out, you start to turn your attention. For Grimy from Virtus Pro, looks like they've been able to sort of regain over here towards this bay side. Vitality, early kills on their side as they look to clear out sort of this outer Winery area. They'll give it up to Gen G. They'll let them take it. They'll say, hey, we're going to try and farm all around you. Have fun. Holding all of this landmass. But now they're kind of running up against the Stallions, and you have to be careful here because as you can see, you got that one player from Gen G on the minimap who is kind of looking down at here. If you're not careful, you could find yourself at the end of a couple bullets from either Gabe Kuhn, Aiden, or Ledden.
Yeah, you're actually in a horrible position here if you're Vitality. The Stallions players starting to squeeze upon you. Players of H1 are potentially harassing your anchor. You don't really have much in the way of coverage. And while Pier does have a buy station, there's not a lot of loot. So, yeah, tough one to watch if you are a Golden Hornet. As for Geekade, they're set up Terrace's Chapel. There are about 14 churches on this map. Call them what you wish. Twisted Minds, they're at the Gatehouse, close by. We'll have to continue to rotate. They've had no problems with that. Yesterday we had a bay zone. Who won it? Twisted Minds. Dominated the lobby with 22 kills. They'll have no issue getting themselves across this map. But Shifty, who has just got himself back in, he hears a zip nearby, wants to get off, active off the back of it.
Ooh!
Oh my lord, how the hell do you win that?
What? Nobody but Shifty! Oh my god! Off the top rope, it's a straight up kickflip. I can't believe that. That's a juicer to just start running this map if you needed one.
The thing is, you'd think so. Shifty just shakes his damn head. He's like, what the hell was that guy doing?
Another day in the office.
Does get the support in.
Guys lost.
And again, those guys look so much better in that area right now, but when you've got a man in your team like Shifty with the ceiling he possesses, you can never count this team out. FaZe Clan, what have you got? It's got to be something, otherwise you're done here. They're trying to hold the Ravens out. They have a lot of land to rotate out of if they wish. Might push them into the hands of Twisted Minds, though. Nearson on 3, burning through the timer, hoping his duo can get back in. King Chalk will just watch this one play out for now.
I kind of like this from FaZe Clan. Get up into this keep. You know there's going to be teams here. You know you need the kills. You know you need the points. This is a great way to do it. I like this from Clamp. Sit on this rooftop. Try and catch some of these players flying in, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Meet up with the teammate, you find King Chalk flying in, you don't allow the Ravens to regroup. Now, do you make this read that Neason's on the inside? I think Clamp was thinking about trying to throw a little bit of a shoulder there, but unless you're gonna have the teammate, maybe get guns that you feel comfortable with, you don't need to do it. Instead, he's gonna go up towards the top, maybe try and keep eyes on the spy station that's down below.
Reminder of the peril that FaZe face right now. They are currently 25 points or so away from safety, so it needs to be the best performances of their damn lives. Heretics also aren't safe, neither are PBJ, and these two will draw blood down towards Grotto. Believe will come out on top. A Franco, if ever we've seen one, but who else is here? Eclectic. They've been here for most of the year, and they don't like any intruders. They'll deal with them. Send them packing, continue to move across the map.
A little bit late on the shots there from Believe, not something we see all the time. And Freddy's just gonna push forward. He hears the self go off, not even worried about it. Drops Believe, and you see Praise gets taken out by Teeny flying on in from the Heretics. So PBJ, just zero opportunity to feel like they maybe can have a sense of a foothold in this map. As we take a look back on over, Mati still in the kill feed, still finding King Chalk, doing a great job of finding these kills at the keep, and more importantly, not really allowing the Ravens to get into this map.
The thing as well, for a lot of these teams that are at the keep, you've got to rotate out at some point. Zon's just told you that, as if you weren't aware anyway. So I'm looking for smokes in the back pockets of players, because otherwise the crossings are a nightmare, and I'm not seeing many. So right now, this play from T1, huge for them. Get the advanced up, let you know what your path is, and figure out a route to some semblance of safety, because if you don't get across with information in hand, we've watched many a side be cut on rotation. As if you can even bloody get out.
Yeah. A couple buybacks going on down below. You see already, there's going to be Novo below you as Vita from CT Gaming tries to make their way forward, but at distance, it's going to be some Vitality players who get into the damage. You soften them on up. Vortex on this backside. It's a nice two-piece. Vita to Killer get dropped. Not going to be a fun day from them. Let's see how the Italians are feeling so far.
Prendetevi i soldi restanti, raga, l'unica.
Sì, stanno celando. Da dove? Da quadrato mi sa. Più al top, ce la faccio, dici? Sì. Più al top. Ho il top. Dobbiamo rotare da destra. Non c'è quadrato, non la vedo. Rutiamo. Hanno beccato quadrato, ok? Rutiamo. Faccio una stick. Mi sono mirapolo. Cluster, ho fatto cluster. Sono larghissimo io. Arrivederci. Noi entriamo sotto, Nico, da...
Raga, hanno riso davanti, hanno riso davanti.
Sì, si allarga in fondo, va in fondissimo.
Grappolato.
Sono messo bene io.
Siamo in safe là,
Tron.
Dobbiamo vincere Pierre, raga, Andate.
Adesso Guani, fatto. Nice, buona.
Vitality.
Vai, lontani in fondo a destra. Caga.
Prendo il mitraglione, lo prendi te lì?
C'è un altro.
Prendo io.
Occhio dietro, non prendi niente dietro.
Solid rotations coming out of Novo. They cut down one player from Vitality. That'll get them a little space on the map they desperately need as the zone continues to close in around Winery.
I don't mind the call. We are aware that zone is going to pull to Winery, so let's jostling for position as they look towards rotation. Twisted Minds, considering playing tunnels, are they aware that T1 are directly beneath them as a full 3? Fight that we all want to tune into. Ravens, well, they've been in the blender pretty much the entirety of the map. Don't know if King Chalk is long for the world, to be honest, and the answer is no. Ravens cleared out, top 10 now hit. All these teams getting a 1.2 multi. Vitality holding on by a thread. Sage will do his damnedest, but Vortex will drop him. Skullface will have to leave his boys behind and nothing but burn ash at this point. He will mourn them and move on over to the winery buildings, but on his own, there isn't much he can do.
In the back that you see there on your screen, FaZe Clan eliminated. They made it to the top 10 before they were. So it's a lot of kills, it felt like, from them in the kill feed.
They did.
Let's see if they can take advantage of that 1.2 multiplier to start the run. Back into the map we go as H1 starting to play on this beach side, potentially against Novo. How do you get into the zone?
The thing is, for everything we were just saying about FaZe Clan, H1 with a team in 14th. With the amount of kills on Kudley alone, that likely leapfrogs PBJ and makes them the team to chase. So if H1 have a great game here, that only turns the screw, pours salt into the wound for FaZe Clan and CT Gaming and PBJ as they all watch a gap start to appear.
A little bit late on the gas play. Athletic, though, they sniff that they have maybe some Italians pushing their way up through the grapevines. Maybe he could look to hold them out. Sage, last alive. Throwing some shoulders, trying to get a lay of the land, but the second he does is ripped. And yeah, it's Teeny and Shifty that'll line up to cut him down. Vitality will drop. It is a top 10 finish, so at least a 1.2 multiplier. But the team needs to do a little bit better if they want to try and make it to that top 5. Virtus Pro. They've managed to find some signs of life. They are here doing great. But let's check on over because Gen G, they're about to be in a battle here.
Heretics are just waiting for them, begging them to step through the doors. Gen G will drop in, gets the Kraken initially. Lennon finds Zeppa. Great work, backs out, sends and swings. Orbs and Teeny, though, they'll clear out. Lennon's 2v2 as they go.
I like this. You back up. If you are Gen G, you lose the one and it's okay. And you might have found the great piece of COD timing because Athletic, they've started pushing it from the back. Freddy, it's a nade. You drop Teeny, you drop Obbs. Heretics bid adieu.
Superb work from the Italians. Went bad yesterday on Fortunes, needed some points on the board, and they're making their way to the late stage of this map with kills in their pockets. Gen G are forced on a wide rotation. Zone just pushing everyone to further north. Athletic will probably shadow them in at this point. The team's in driving position. T1, Virtus Pro. 2 members of the Twisted Minds, and that's who Gen G may meet here first as soon as they peer up over this wall.
Zone has pushed us to this house right above the Bay Area. Aiden just trying to look across up at the top. Here's Twisted Minds on top of the building. Do they make the read that you have some people behind you? Because Gen G and Athletic, they're about to fight behind you down below. It's Novo and T1 continuing to battle. As finally Virtus Pro make their way out of the hole. You do not look left. Fede finds the kills that he needs. Talk about Rookie of the Year.
Great stuff from him. Pops off in a moment where his boys needed him most. Hunkering in for the top 5. Gonna let everybody else scramble over this land. Member of H1 just above him. Gen G being held out by Twisted Minds. Gabe does not have a stim available, so he's going to invest in the self-revive play. Aiden is down and out. Twisted just holding. Gabe couldn't get back up, but it's read by Blastides and done. Gen G fall, as do H1. The 2 members of Twisted to close this out.
2 members of Twisted Minds. It's a T1 player in Disrupt as well as a player from Novo. What do we see here? How do you start to move? Fede, he just went huge for the team. Can he stay alive? No, because Twisted Minds have separated themselves. They find one, they clean up Disrupt. It's another win. They don't even care. Put it on the board, get them to Sunday.
Talked about it earlier. We had a Bay Zone just yesterday. The team that came out on top, Twisted Minds, and they dominated. We do it this time. We do it as a 2. It's Blast, it's Shifty, the players that we've so often spoke about through recent months as pacing issues, comm issues, chemistry problems. No such thing here in Paris. They are looking absolutely stunning, dominant on the day, and how that sends a shiver, not just through the rest of this group, but to potential rivals in Group B as well, who are waiting on playing this afternoon. And yeah, Shifty feeling himself basking in the lights here on main stage. Let some people know out there that they absolutely stink.
Yeah, he's loving it. We got some great Twisted Mind fans here in the venue. They are sending him all of the energy, all of the love. Nice little sign that I heart Blast. And well, if you are obviously Almond and Shifty, you were saying I love Blast too. He's making some veteran plays always up here towards the end. But let's just kind of see, how do we get to that point where it's just 2 members of Twisted Minds? and a couple of other stragglers here. And it's really just, they hold the high ground. It's classic Warzone.
Well, they operated in the same way yesterday. They're kind of like, okay, we're going to position ourselves in a spot where we can just basically go and let everybody else rotate beneath. And it's so calm.
Wait, was there a second PA? Am I blacking? Yeah, you blacked out. Am I blacking? I literally was interesting.
You blacked out. Look, the thing is, it's so casual from them. And again, they did this yesterday. They kind of set themselves up, just overwatching the bait. They don't need to send themselves into it, go hunting red dots. They're gonna let everybody else scramble over those bottlenecks and the chokeholds. As long as no one's in behind them, they're relatively covered. It's about shooting straight. And, well, there's not many people that have ever done that better than him. And for everything that we've said about Blast and his issues, there's one thing he's always done, and that is shoot incredibly well on land.
All right, well, we got one last map here in Group A. It's going to be a banger. Do not worry, though. We're going to get hopping into it very, very quickly.
So basically know from playing ranked a lot. I started competition last year, but I got an issues during the plane last year. I tried to take the first plane. I take the first plane, but I thought that the second plane would be so hard for me, especially for 11 hours travel. So it was like impossible for me. I have this since I'm a little kid, honestly, and I was just didn't pay attention. I didn't.
And we will see 3 descend into the Crusher today. And there's a chance we do see it. We kind of know where we're going here. So, I mean, where are you worried about? What teams are you looking forward to in the next one?
I mean, FaZe. We heard it just before the break between Rebirth Islands that they were kind of on the brink. They haven't been playing that well. We're seeing placings. Fortune's Keep, not really the best for them. But they're not alone in this fight. I mean, you got PBJ to worry about. You got H1 to worry about. We just saw from Cooley. It would be something if they were able to turn up and avoid that. But it's going to be hard for these teams.
As we know, though, the way Warzone plays out, the way Resurgence plays out, anything can happen. We have seen some incredible comebacks, and the chance is still there just to escape that bottom 3 placement. We'll be keeping a very keen and firm eye on that. Top 5 not cemented either. So at the upper end of the bracket, we have still got teams to work out. This group is far from over. What are you feeling about the top end, mate? I mean, let's face it. Twisted Minds, they're looking fantastic.
They got the fans. They got everybody around them. VP2. I mean, you saw Grimy earlier on Rebirth Island. He nearly clutched up. Unfortunately, Amin had a different story for him, but we also hear the hot take from Shift about Ravens. I'm not worried about Ravens whatsoever. I think that they are going to be A-okay, and they've shown it too. I think that Ravens have turned out.
Yeah, the energy's there. I mean, they're sitting just next to us. A couple of confident faces indeed. I mean, they should not be too worried. However, cannot take your hands off the wheel. Can't take your feet off the gas. It's going to be a tough one. But, mate, wondering about the last few maps. I mean, is there anything you would you come to expect? You're a caster of Warzone. You know your things. I mean, how do you feel about these next two?
I mean, Fortune's Keep? Yeah, the next one. Fortune's Keep. It has been a blast. I've been loving it so far. Biggest map that we have in Resurgence, and a lot of teams are probably still trying to find their comfort on land playing this one. First weekend that we get Fortune's Keep on land, so it's going to take a little bit for them to get used to it, but they got one map, and this is where they can lay it all on the field.
Time now to go to our final map, the last chance to stay alive here at EWC 26. Back to the casters, boys. Let's get it on.
One map is the difference between some of these teams having dreams and some of these teams having nightmares. The dream stays alive for H1. Nice little heartwarming piece from Kudli there for him to be able to be here. Says we want to prove that we can be one of the best teams. And well, after a fantastic last map, Enigma, they've been able to do it. They have jumped out of the bottom three here. They got about a 20-point gap on any of the other bottom three teams. They might have just done it there in Game 7, but they have to continue to do it here in this last final game of the day.
Yeah, they're going to want to make sure, so you can't go out early. You don't want to watch your destiny slip between your fingers. You've got a grasp on it right now. It is PBJ, CT Gaming, and FaZe Clan who sit in those bottom three. I'm going to be honest, you need a hope and a prayer if you're FaZe Clan. You will need a 35-point banger, and considering you've had less than 100 points all the way through this tournament, I just don't see it coming. For CT and PBJ, you sit just over the 100-point marker, but is H1 the team to chase alongside the Stallions? They sit around that 120 points. First Squad and Heretics just above them. So there is a lot to play for. A couple of these sides need to figure things out. Top 5, Novo currently sit in that spot, chasing. They're on 145. Gen G sit in the 5th spot, 157. So that looks pretty good. But again, a lot of those teams towards the top can have bangers, so we're far from settled just yet.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is map number 12 for Group A here at the Esports World Cup. Yet again, bottom 5 will make it, or top 5 will make it to Sunday. Bottom 3 get their keys crushed. If you're any of the remaining teams, guess what? You got one more day of play ahead of you in the survival stage. You can see the standings on the right side of your screen there to see just how close it is between some of our teams here. And we start off with Gen G, the team that's currently in 5th place. You're down a member, and you're starting to maybe lurk here as you have a couple of those Vitality boys lurking nearby.
Really important one for Vitality this. You trail Gen G in that spot by just over 12 points. Should you take Winery early here, and even better yet, eliminate Gen G, that gives you the chance to close. Nova are often in this contest. They split them currently on the leaderboard, but they're down in Lighthouse. Can deal with that problem later. The one thing we do get here, ladies and gentlemen, an Eastern Zone. The first one we've seen on Fortune's Keep inside this group. It's time to find out how it plays.
I know they do things backwards in the UK, but I think you mean West.
West, god damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen, we've been locked in on all of this Warzone action, and it has just been
directionally
lights
challenged.
out. You are directionally challenged. I was going to bring it up. It's A-okay. Just taking a look around, a couple of the different teams here. Where's the lay of the land? How's everybody feeling here in this last final map on Fortune's Keep? You can see a couple of those Stallions members over on the boat. Not a terrible idea.
I love it, to be completely honest. The rotation from this side of the map over to the west would be awful. So you just skip it, just take the boat, get the hell out. I mean, he is leaving his boys behind if you're Kruger, but he's often the anchor anyway, so it doesn't matter. Just kind of let him sail off into the seas and ensure that you boys can go and push out. Ravens, they're in the keep. They want to get out of here. Relatively sharpish. They will have loadout. Now it's about picking a path.
One thing to note here, I'm not seeing FaZe Clan on the minimap anywhere around. I don't even think FaZe has decided to try and play this lower side. It's one last map. I think they maybe have done something completely different. We'll see where they are later, because I'm looking at them in the kill feed, and that they're obviously have landed down here on Main Street. You can see on your screen already, trying to fly back in towards this ammo cache side. And for H1, I think they're happy to maybe play in the water here a little bit, try and take advantage of these players trying to regain. CT Gaming, another team that needs to have a huge game. They're down here on Main Street as well. Mati tries to go for the quick scope, just not going to be enough. Kudli will be dropped, and you're going to send one more out into the water.
Fire getting on the move. Reminder, H1 currently sit in the spot so many squads are trying to chase down. Them and Stallions, really what everybody's looking for towards the bottom of the board in the feed. And Fire, well, he's got no issues clearing up around PD. This is putting them in a wonderful position to see Saturday. We really didn't know what to expect from this team coming into it. And as such, meeting their own expectations. PBJ, also in a tough spot, sit in the bottom three. They've cleared out books. They're looking to just hold what is relatively center circle when it comes to town, this east side. And we've seen it before. If sides can set themselves up at books and the zone drags more towards the middle of the map, you can cut down the sides, leaving in mass. Just that, the points and the play that they'll invest in.
Look at a nice little front row look at FaZe Clan. You saw Dizzy on your screen there with a decent number of kills. Only 5 in that last game. I thought it was way more, if I'm going to be honest with you. But hopefully they can do something different, putting themselves in a much more active part of the map. Maybe a better opportunity to get those kills. The other side, though, you got to make your way over. You can see our mini-map coming up there, and a number of teams outside of zone have to rotate in, but also a number of teams set up well to maybe gatekeep some of those rosters. Keep our eyes on how you are going to rotate in. And one of those teams that has to make it happen is going to be Gen G as they start this fight against Vitality. Let's see how the comms are flowing.
Prime brisket.
Yo, yeah, do any of you guys have stims? No. We're definitely gonna need a streak.
Yeah. You want to loot up for Pia?
I'm about to grab the recon.
I'm looting up one. Yep. I can start that. Stack it, triple stack it. Come. Good shit, boys.
Yep, good shot.
Throw a plate box right outside. Oh, you guys are all max, nice.
Okay, dude. We just gotta prolong the game, okay?
Yep. Yeah. We're in a bad spot as well.
Yep. I'm gonna get top church.
Alrighty.
Pretty calm comms from the boys. They're in Gen G. They're just on the outside of zone. The Huff T1 gatekeeping them, but you can see here, Vitality, they've gone ahead. They've regained over here at this Main Street side. Can they find any amount of positioning to hopefully put themselves a line in the sand, cut down some of the likes of maybe Eclectic or other rosters?
And certainly what they need to do at this point, they are chasing a 16-point gap. GK. They themselves are right up there alongside Vitality and Nova. Bang here could make it happen, could see them through to Sunday. Skullface operating in the grotto here. This is a center circle as you like. The one thing is, as this fire sale approaches, feels like there's nowhere near enough cash in hand for an advance. If other sides possess them nearby, they will be out-infoed and leave them incredibly vulnerable for the fights that ensue.
That's a great call out. Yes, you're able to get your feet underneath you on the regain, but it's all about, do you have loadout? Do you have enough for an advance? Do you have enough for streaks? Do you feel okay about how many plates you have? These are all things you got to keep in the back of your mind, especially when Sage is down here and, well, he's getting found out by Novo. So you're still a man down if you are. You can see just on this outside, Novo. It's Blade looking over the boys as they start to push forward in that grotto area. They've been able to find Zanks. Tries to get a little bit squirrely with it, but will not stay alive. Stim keeps Vortex moving as they start getting shot from the top here. Looks like that's Skullface, who's now looking down, was hoping maybe to find one on the exit. Just a little bit too short.
Zone's pulls next, slightly more northern than we would have expected. So for these sides fighting right now, your Eclectics, your Novos, they're going to have to move quicker than they would have liked. For Vitality, you are still inside. They're looking to pick up a couple of stragglers, maybe strip them of the money and weaponry and loadouts they possess. FaZe Clan, again, they've got to find a hell of a lot of points here. They're in town with a lot of bodies around them, and I'm seeing 3 kills on Dizzy, a 4th on Clamp, so you can shoot him this side. Oh, making waves, and well, one of the big fights there against Praise. Jay Fella, though, trade onto Dizzy. Marti was also knocked, so 1v2 here. if your FaZe clan, as the other opposite member of PBJ, lands on the side of him that could set up a pinch.
Well, look who's not too far away. It's also H1 who needs to get in, so they could decide to hear all this action, maybe clear it out, clear their backside, and just bring down some of the pressure. But for FaZe clan, you have been able to back down PBJ. An opportunity for either of those teams to ensure that the other one does not make it through. Instead, they both understand the weight of the scenario. They back off, they reset.
So many big sides here inside the keep. Virtus Pro, Ravens, T1. All looking pretty good in terms of qualification to Sunday. But they do have company. Nearson drops QHZ nothing in an instant. Pressure starts to arrive from Twisted Minds. They hear the gunshots that look to third party because it's not an ongoing engagement. Decide to back off, just play for pockets of space. Big kill from Smith there. Sorry, Sage. Onto Vortex. And out go FaZe clan. We see it in the kill feed. That is likely them eliminated from the tournament. Don't see any way back. So unfortunately, for Swag and the LATAM North roster, this is all you will do in Paris.
A heartbreaking exit from that team. I'm sure we'll talk more about it after the map. And you can just see how disappointed they are there on your screen. So many teams, though, on this outside. As Zone starts to continue to push them in. I like where Ravens is set up. A lot of these other rosters are trying to just beg for any amount of space they can. You can't throw a shoulder. You can't put yourself into the line of fire of any of these other rosters, because the second you do, you're about to get laced up from probably 3 different teams.
There's so many sides still up, 14 of them. We are approaching the end of the 4th circle. T1 again, so much space. Spam's going to consider the high ground. Look to see if anybody's playing off the back of that noise queue. So a lack of intel available to T1 right now. Checking all corners, all comers. Almost going to bang away in the direction of Novo. Just holding the north side of the map, rotating in with the walls. Problem is that we'll have Virtus Pro set up in spiral before you get to a place of comfort. They're the big checkbox for T1 included, unless they decide to completely skip that fight, playing through the lower side instead.
Feels very odd. Everything's kind of come to a standstill. We see in the kill feed there, H1 shots. They've been eliminated from this game. I think they might have done enough, though. We'll have to wait and see. Cluster ringing on out. A little bit of area denial. These GK are just here on the outside, and I'm looking at that kill feed. T1 wiped by GK here on the outer edges of the zone. Let's listen in to see how they are feeling. What's the plan moving forward?
Ja. Der wird Tunnel unter uns wahrscheinlich gehen, so.
Die einen sind halt direkt hier, die einen sind direkt hier. Fighten links, Graveyard, maybe fokussen die das.
Unter uns,
ja. Komm vor, komm vor, komm vor. Ich kletter
nein, Handy, pass auf. Ich wurde geändert.
Ich geh oder so, ich geh oder so. Wir Corner bei mir sein. Die werden früher oder später fighten, Wir müssen darauf spielen.
Ich fahr left an die Wall.
Ja, wir müssen darauf spielen. Komm. Komm vor. Links los. Bonnie, eine Kugel, Jungs.
Ich können nicht chill, Digga, hinter uns, chill.
Ihr habt Cover.
Was für Cover, Digga?
Rest, ne, er ist Tommy. Hab ihn. Bonnie.
Einer kommt von oben. Crack.
Ich bin von Bonnes, genau, von Graveyard links.
Noch einer kommt.
Ja, das war der.
Oh, listen, I can't understand German, but I can understand frustrations when you get knocked, but the action doesn't stop there. Ravens have decided to move forward. They're starting to get in the mix. Genji now getting guns hot. They cut down a couple of Ravens. Eclectic also getting dropped in all the fights.
Nearson's going to get the reload in, just looking for a little semblance of cover here as a PA ripples over the top, sending corpses sky high. Speaking of which, incoming cluster as well. Smokescreen, who's dropping that to send over a rotation? Looks like Vitality on the hunt, gonna meet Raven straight up. Sage will find the first, now trying to squeeze the rest of the boys.
Only one more player from the Ravens here. It's Niasen. You get some early shots in. Nades up over the top. The problem is Niasen, he's hopped up over the wall, and Gen G is going to be on the other side. And you also have VP from above. Grimy trying to put the CBRS to work to take down Niasen, who has 1 HP. Thankfully, Regen comes on in, and Grimy, he's just shooting anything that moves. Gabe Kuhn dropped. Skullface in the back as well. You got to move into the zone as it completely shifts over to Church.
I think VP have missed the Twisted have played in for their spiral though, so he might be on Earth in the moment. Aiden's gonna get the timing on Nielsen. Ravens are done. Gen G and Ravens though should be through on to tomorrow. So for Ravens, just about last second heroics. The Vitality have got all the company with Twisted.
Z Smith from below, he mistimes it. Almond cuts him down. Twisted Minds. They continue to hold the bottom of the spiral, but the rest of this lobby has moved forward. Adrian has been able to cut down Sage. That means it's just Skullface from Vitality left. It's one member of Gen G. It's Twisted Minds and Virtus Pro. Time and time again, Skullface tries to hit the hop up, and he unfortunately misses it. But as I'm looking at this, that might have been a blessing in disguise, because Virtus Pro, they hold the entire rooftop.
They have no idea that he is here. Skull can't rotate into that gas early though. The second he starts to cough, it will ping. And so as Twisted Minds begin their own rotation, they'll be aware that VP know their location.
I like this. I like this. They understand that they can't play on that outside. Grimy, though, will get those shots in and cut down Aiden. That's another solo they don't have to worry about. They're probably getting flashbacks of that earlier match on Rebirth Island, where they let a solo absolutely chalk their entire map. Almond, he gets dropped, but the fight breaks out between these two squads. Almond and Shifty are taken out. Blast is found by Skullface. Skull goes huge when he needs it. It's a 1v3. Can he line him up and knock him down? The MXR, it's good, but it's just not good enough. Virtus Pro will take map number 12 in a very convincing fashion. They won 2 games yesterday. We're looking great, and here they are yet again, feeling fantastic.
For that, we should more than cement the position. Of course, Twisted Minds, God, they've been etched in stone for a while now, but Virtus Pro, Ravens, T1, Gen G, felt that they'd all done enough. It's towards the bottom end that I'm particularly interested in. Those top 5 should be feeling comfortable about marching on through to Sunday, regardless of how everything else went on. We saw them in the latter stages. It's those bottom teams. We know that FaZe Clan fell too early. We didn't see CT Gaming from pretty much the middle of the map. It's those other sides, your H1, Stallions, PBJ, First Squad. Where did all of them exist? How many kills they walk away with? That determines whether or not you're packing your bags or drawing up VOD review for tomorrow.
Yeah, one thing to note there at that end as well, a big conversation we had, it was like Gen G and Vitality, how could they do? It was kind of a battle for that top 5. With both Aiden and Skullface getting to the end of that map, it feels like it's going to come down to whoever had more kills at the end of that. We saw Vitality having to regain. We saw Gen G getting mixy sort of in some of the middle of that map. I'm very curious how things are feeling. But man, what a way to wrap up Group A here at the Esports World Cup. 12 games over the last 2 days. We saw some heavy hitters performing. You know, questions answered about Twisted Minds. We've seen some
One from the side with a ridiculous ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels so cool looking at this list of teams that we had here in Group A. I honestly think I can say, looking across the team list, almost every team had some type of just highlight moment, some type of big energy that they were able to bring across one of these 12 maps to kind of prove that they're a formidable team here, that if they make it out of that survival stage into the final lobby on Sunday, that they will be a force to be reckoned with. Great stuff. But for a lot of our teams, guess what? It's not done yet. You still got a survival stage to play through tomorrow. 5 of our teams will make their way towards Sunday. Get a rest day tomorrow. Hit the VOD review. Maybe get a load of some of the other squads. For 3 of our teams, unfortunately, like you mentioned, they will have to pack their bags. They will have to watch their keys get crushed. And they will have to have their EWC.
Certainly, Ciao. Checking in with a couple of the teams there. Lovely to see Tommy, of course, Warzone legend. Regardless of the events of this tournament, he will still sit inside the top 10 earners of all time, despite retiring almost a millennia ago. Of course, coaching in the Heretics. For Eclectic, the body language relatively neutral. I think they came into this tournament as one of the surprising favorites to get qualified through because of how good they've been in recent scrims. We haven't seen that side. I'll be honest with you, that sign is a take as hot as I hold shifts. I'm going to be honest with you. Twisted putting up ridiculous numbers. Wait till you see the final leaderboard, whether that be as a team or individually. So many of the fans, though, inside of here have been fantastic for those sides out on the stage. They've felt every bit of noise, the electricity, the pressure, but also the love coming in from the stands.
That is, I mean, listen, I want to wait for any type of confirmation on our squads that are potentially getting eliminated.